Welcome to America's Day at the Races. I'm Greg Wolf. We're living in an unprecedented time as we deal with the impact and spread of the coronavirus. While most of the sports world has either canceled or suspended play, horse racing and most major tracks across the country will continue to compete with no fan access. Our show will take place in the studios at Santa Anita Park, and the scene here is what you will see at tracks all across the country. Empty stands, eerily quiet, with precautions taken to limit interaction between jockeys and trainers. We thank you for spending part of your Saturday afternoon with us. We have a great show ahead with 2 Kentucky Derby prep races. We're looking forward to it. We hope you are as well. Next, the road to the Kentucky Derby continues, where 2-time Triple Crown winning trainer Bob Baffert sends out the undefeated Nadal, the favorite in the Rebel Stakes from Oakland. Silver Prospector already owns a prep win over one of the top contenders for the Kentucky Derby. A win today could vault him to the head of the class in the 3-year-old division. And last year's Kentucky Oaks winner Serengeti Empress is back as the favorite in a loaded field of accomplished fillies and mares. And the Grade 2 Azeri, her game plan, get to the front and keep on going. Welcome to our show. It is brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Hello, everyone. And again, thank you very much for being with us here on this Saturday afternoon. We are all living through a time most of us never expected to be living through, with sports canceled, these empty stands as well, but we will go through it. But as our daily lives are interrupted, as we find out more about the coronavirus and how that affects all our daily lives, hopefully this show will bring you a little bit of pause and some enjoyment as well on this Saturday afternoon. We'll be joined by Hall of Famer Gary Stevens in just a little bit. With me here in studio, Michelle Yu, and very different time, obviously, that we've never experienced walking into Santa Anita Park here to do this show. Empty stands. We're not seeing any people. We will not at racetracks all across the country. Very, very quiet. How's that impacting the sport?
I mean, I definitely think it's strange to come out here and hear that. You come out and there's not hustle and bustle. There's not people getting ready for the races in the mornings. No one's at Clocker's Corner lining up the parking lot to get in here. You know, there's lots of different securities you have to go through. It's very different. And some of the racetracks have already run fan-free, and I've got to see them on social media, but it doesn't even compare to when you come to your home track and you see, oh my gosh, there's really no one here.
Yeah, even driving down the freeway to get here, freeway signs saying COVID-19, avoid large gatherings. The warnings are all over. So the show will go on with horse racing. We have some tremendous action today, including the Rebel Stakes. Bob Baffert will send out Nadal. I ran into Bob Baffert as I came into the track this morning.
Did he shake your hand?
In his go-kart. It was all sealed up all the way around. Everyone taking precautions as best they can to make sure the show does go on here without fans at racetracks all across the country. But great action today. Rebel Stakes on that road to the Kentucky Derby. Winner of that race will earn a starting spot that first Saturday in May in the starting gate. As you're watching, you can get signed up and started with Naira Bets, and new members get a $20 free play on the Rebel Stakes with the promo code REBEL20. Go to NairaBets.com, enter the code REBEL20 at sign up. $20 will be deposited into your account in minutes. To bet the Rebel Stakes, go to NairaBets.com/REBEL20 for promotion details. We're going to get right into action. We have Turfway Park today, Oakland Park, and Aqueduct. In this fourth at Aqueduct, it's the start of the Empire 6, $25,000 claiming race. It is a one-turn mile coming up, and Michelle Armament right now favored a 5-time winner who is 2 for 3 at this racetrack.
Well, and you got to look at that last race and just draw a line through it. So really, you have to say he's almost going to be a perfect 2 for 2. They tried Stakes Company with him last time, and that was just not a great move. And I would say, chuck it out. You get back to the claiming ranks where this horse has run really well. You mentioned being the 2 for 3 at Aqueduct. He's also a perfect 3 for 3 at the distance as well.
And you saw Small Bear acting up to 3 a little bit. That's a horse that used to be owned by August Dawn Farm and Bill Parcells. Of course, they will send out 3 Technique a little bit later on in the Rebel at Oakland. Korea's Brooklyn Law from the rail, one of the horses to beat in this field as well. We send it out to John Imbrial, the 4th from Aqueduct here on America's Day at the Races.
And the rough. Swiping Dan is right out for the early lead, and Armament came away racing in second as they move up the chute. Outplay is now gaining ground, moving off the rail there just a bit. Small Bear is next in fourth, followed by Shalako, and then it's Korea's Brooklyn Law and Royal Albert Hall. Now they're on the main track, and it is Armament with the lead here by almost 2. Swiping Dan runs in second by a little more than a length. Korea's Brooklyn Law down at the rail. The gray Small Bear's in between horses and outplays on the outside. And then we come back to Shalako and Royal Albert Hall. The opening quarter went in 24 seconds. It is Armament with the lead here by a little more than a length. Then it's the foursome of Swiping Dan, Outplay, Small Bear, Korea's Brooklyn Law. Another length and a half to Shalako, who's moving up a bit on the outside from 6th, and a Royal Albert Hall. They race midway on the turn, the opening half in 48 and 3/5 seconds. Armament by a length. Outplay has now moved into second. Korea's Brooklyn Law down at the rail. Shalako's on the outside, then Small Bear, Royal Albert Hall, and the field is at the head of the stretch. It's Armament and Outplay, and they are 1-2 towards the rail. Korea's Brooklyn Law and Small Bear on the outside. It is Shalako and Royal Albert Hall out in the middle of the track as they pass the 8th pole. Here comes Royal Albert Hall now to take over at the 16th pole. Royal Albert Hall drawing away here. It's Royal Albert Hall from off the pace to win it. Small Bear did get second, a photo for third between Shalako and pace-setting Armament.
It's the old veteran, the oldest horse in the field, the 8-year-old Royal Albert Hall, a former stakes winner at 1 mile and 5/16 who gets the win.
I love Royal Albert Hall. He used to be based out here in Southern California, so I've been following him a long time. He got the perfect trip today. Off the pace, bided the time to come down the stretch, and honestly, he did have to buck the trend just a little bit because the 5-horse Armament that was on the lead the whole way didn't put up extremely fast fractions. So the fact that he faded in the late stages really worked in the favor of Royal Albert Hall. Great ride there by Junior Alvarado. Geared down at the end, too, there, Greg.
Yeah, that was an easy victory for Royal Albert Hall, just the 4th of his career in 48 starts. Small Bear, he's always a fighter. Believe he gets up for second over the 4. Shalako looks like 7-3-4 unofficially as we check in at Oakland for the first time today, the site of the Rebel Stakes on the road to the Kentucky Derby, the 4th race. A 2-turn mile. Starter allowance, they have muddy conditions this afternoon. Only part of the entry remains, and that was the much tougher half of the entry.
Yeah, this was definitely the better part. Matru here for Robertino Diodoro, who already has a couple of wins on the card today. And this 10-year-old son of Distorted Humor has put together back-to-back wins right here at Oakland Park as well. He's also been successful in the mud, so even if you didn't love him before, you kind of have to like him now. The only thing going against him is he's not gray, and it's the old adage, bet a gray horse in the mud, right, Greg?
He's got a 31% trainer in Robertino Diodoro, but he loves this race course. He loves the off-track, as you mentioned. He's won 3 of his last 4, but you also have the 8 code to win. He has won 5 in a row, but those have all come sprinting, so we'll see if he can get the job done just the second time going a route of ground in his career. For James DeVito now, we send it out to Vic Stoffer for the call.
Fayette Warrior and Candy Carlos broke well. I Will Stand. Matru is pushed along, but he's 4th early, and the early trailer is Code to Win. Fayette Warrior is the leader from Candy Carlos in second. Fayette Warrior a length. Candy Carlos is second, 3/4 of a length to the outside, and I Will Stand. Matru, the 10-year-old, will do his running from off the pace today. He is 4th, climbing into the dirt just a bit. Matru, he's 4 from the front, and Code to Win just inside of him. 5 lengths first to last. Candy Carlos rides the rail to the lead. It is Candy Carlos, a neck in front of Fayette Warrior and I Will Stand. Matru is 4th now, but now he's only 2 lengths off the lead, and he's a length in front of Code to Win, who's trying for 6 wins in a row, all 5 of them with a chance to the half-mile pole. Finish line is the 16th pole, and Candy Carlos trying to get there first. Candy Carlos, a half length in front of Fayette Warrior and I Will Stand. Matru Matrue is at the rail. He's 4th and 2 from the front. Code to Win just outside of him. They leave the backstretch, and Candy Carlos is the leader. I Will Stand has just taken over second, and here comes I Will Stand to challenge Candy Carlos. Code to Win is next. Then comes Matrue, still 4th and still 2 from the front. Fayette Warrior is gone, top of the stretch. I Will Stand has put his head in front of Candy Carlos. Code to Win. Matrue is still 4th. He needs a way through now. Any one of the top 4 can win. Matrue trying to get through, and he can't yet. I Will Stand just in front of Code to Win. Candy Carlos, Matrue in the center. Code to Win and I Will Stand. Matrue trying to come after them. I Will Stand. Code to Win. Matrue. I Will Stand. Code to Win. I Will Stand. Won it over Code to Win and Matrue. Candy Carlos finished 4th.
I Will Stand digs in, gets the win. John Ortiz, Ramon Vasquez team up.
He's so far been winless this year, but got a great trip here. And really the best horse was probably your favorite, who ends up finishing, I think, 3rd when it's all said and done. But he just could not get through, had to re-angle to the outside, and I Will Stand got a dream trip there. So great win for him.
First win as well on an off track in his career. The majority of his wins had actually come sprinting, and he'd shown talent going a little bit longer, but now his first win today, or I should say second win of his career at a mile, as he outduels the 8, Code to Win, whose win streak comes to an end at 5, and of course that other half of the entry, Matrue. Meanwhile, back at Aqueduct, we'll give you those prices here in just a moment, but we have more coming up from New York. The correction, the feature this afternoon, conditions are fast. Conditions are brought to you by Naira Bets. Oakland today, again, muddy. That is the Grade 2 Rebel, the big race there today, and the undefeated Nadal for Bob Baffert in action from Turfway Park on their poly track ahead, where we have the JR Stakes on the road to the Triple Crown. 20 points to the winner to get into that starting gate for the Kentucky Derby. Want to make it known to everyone as well who does take advantage of that $20 free play. Go to Naira Bets, use that promo code REBEL20, but you can use that $20 on any race whatsoever. It does not need to be just the Rebel Stakes. You can play wherever you like. So I'm going to get Michelle your opinion as we go through some of these races and what might be a good $20 free play later on this afternoon.
I'll be on alert for that.
All right, there's our winner. Back at Aqueduct, Royal Albert Hall, the 8-year-old. 4th win of his career, $20.40.
That is a big number for this hard-knocking old gelding by Royal Applause. Rob Atris, your winning conditioner here for Drawing Away Stables. You see those famous blue and orange silks there. He only had 1 start this year. It was an okay effort, but today on the class drop really does prevail, and those earnings are inching towards $500,000.
All right, we'll get into the start of the late pick 5 next from Aqueduct. We're going to step aside for a short timeout. Still ahead, can Nadal, named after the 19-time Grand Slam winner, bring Bob Baffert a record-tying 6th Derby win, or will Silver Prospector step into the spotlight for a Hall of Fame trainer seeking his first ever Derby win?
Run happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com.
Flatter. This prolific son of A.P. Indy has sired 6 millionaires, including Eclipse champion West Coast. He's adding even more stakes winners to his outstanding record, including Sovereign Award winner Avies Flatter. His yearlings have topped the Fasig-Tipton July sale 2 years in a row and sold up to $900,000 at Keeneland September. Success on the track, success in the ring. Flatter, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. And on those muddy conditions at Oakland Park, I Will Stand getting the win for the John Ortiz barn. 4th win of his career, $30 winner. We have had a couple of big prices to start off our show this afternoon. 3, 8, 1, 8. Wow, the entry remaining half goes off as a heavy 2 to 5 favorite. Can do no better than 3rd. Our show brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. We have 2 preps on the road to the Kentucky Derby this afternoon. The 50-point race to the winner, the big one. That's the Grade 2 Rebel, mile and a 16th out in Hot Springs, Arkansas at Oakland Park. And the big horse in this race, there's a few big names, but Nadal undefeated for Bob Baffert. Had some sore shins as a 2-year-old, kind of forced him to miss some time, and now he's playing catch-up a little bit.
He actually, when he was shipping from Los Alamitos up to Santa Anita from Bob's second string to his first, kicked the van and got his legs caught over the Partian. So he had to kind of be pushed back, and that's why you see him start a little bit later than you would normally see Bob Baffert horses start. They had a little bit of bone bruising left over from that, but he has jumped right in with all 4 feet into the winner's circle first time out, and then backed right up with a stakes win in the San Vicente. And that was actually an audible called by Bob too, Greg, because he was originally thinking, I'm going to wait for the Southwest for this horse, but he was doing too good.
So this was his graded stakes debut. They stretched him out to 7 furlongs here. He's never been really a rocket ship out of the gate, but he is extremely quick. And he's going to use that speed, you would think, to his advantage today.
Well, look how big he is. It's no surprise that he's not extremely quick because he's a big, thick, heavy, colty type. So you even see him when you're walking right here. You can see how broad his chest is, how tall he is compared to Jimmy, the assistant trainer right there walking alongside of him. He's a very big horse, so you wouldn't expect him to be lightning fast and light on his feet, and he actually does show a lot of natural speed.
He's over 1,300 pounds. That's a lot, right, for a thoroughbred?
That is a lot for a thoroughbred, yes.
Well, lightly raced as well. He's giving up a lot of experience to most in this field, but if anyone can overcome that, of course, Bob Baffert in the Rebel can. He has won this race 6 times before. Twice he has won it 3 years in a row.
Taking a look at the horses he's won it with too, it's very interesting to see the different types of horses. Opportunity ended up being a little bit better later in his career. American Pharoah won the Triple Crown. Secret Circle was primarily a sprinter. So when you take a look at the different just types of horses that Bob has won this with, it just really shows Bob's overall prowess in this race.
Did have a Triple Crown champion among that list as well, so he's had some good success in Hot Springs. It is our America's Best Racing race of the week. So who will line up against Nadal? The very talented Basin, who we saw last summer at Saratoga for Steve Asmussen. He's the Grade 1 winner of the Hopeful. He's making his 3-year-old debut. He's playing some catch-up as well, but then you have the very talented and seasoned Silver Prospector.
Yeah, 8 starts under the belt of Silver Prospector. He won the prep race for this, the Southwest Stakes, last time out, and that was going a mile and a 16th, like they're going to be going today. I actually really like him. You got that $20, Greg? I think I'm going to use some of it on Silver Prospector and maybe try and upset Nadal here.
Silver Prospector, 7-2 on the morning line. He won the Kentucky Jockey Club, beating a horse who's at the top of the Derby list for many in Tiz the Law back as a 2-year-old with more. On this Steve Asmussen trainee, let's check in for the first time today with Nancy Holthus.
Thanks so much, Greg. Well, I like the way Michelle thinks. Silver Prospector already has 21 points going into the starting 8 of the Kentucky Derby. He is the only 3-time winner going into the gate of today's Rebel. He is very effective at today's distance of a mile and a 16th, a perfect 2 for 2. Now, if you look back at his Smarty Jones race, he ran somewhat of a disappointing 4th. That was contested at a mile and over and off track. Now, Steve Asmussen was a little bit disappointed, as was his pilot in Ricardo Santana. But if you look back on his form as well, he hasn't been effective at a mile distance. It's a mile and a 16th. He almost seems like the further he goes, the better he goes. And also in that Grade 2 Kentucky Jockey Club, he was effective over the slop. So moving forward into today, as you've seen, we are over and off track, and rain is expected to come in around the 4 o'clock area. So we could be potentially going from muddy to sloppy. I don't want to play amateur meteorologist, but as a horseman, sometimes you have to. So Silver Prospector, he's going to get the nod for me, but a lot of people are going to be all eyes on Basin. He has come over with a work over the local surface. I know his fairgrounds connections are very high on him, but so is Ricardo Santana with his eyes on Silver Prospector. Greg?
Nancy, thank you. Well, we know how successful Bob Baffert's been in this race. Steve Asmussen's been very successful as well. He's going to have 3 chances, Michelle, to win it again today. And obviously Silver Prospector, one of those main tries. But Basin, even though he's making his 3-year-old debut, he won a Grade 1 impressively in the slot back as a 2-year-old.
Yeah, I think that he was, really talked about as a 2-year-old. He went to the sidelines. He had a little bit of an issue on a fetlock, and it's been taken care of now. They've given him plenty of time. In fact, his owner actually said at one point, I think Steve might be taking a little bit too much time. Let's get him back to the races. So the fact that Steve actually is going to throw him in here, first time routing ever, off of over a 6-month layoff, to me that means this colt must be doing extremely well.
Connections have said Basin is training like a Grade 1 winner. And, of course, he already is a Grade 1 winner back as a 2-year-old, as we mentioned. We're going to check in for the first time this afternoon with former champion jockey Richard Migliori, who is at Aqueduct. And, Mig, what is the scene like in South Ozone Park?
Well, Greg, it's a little bit quiet here. We don't have any fans out, but it's interesting. The horses are acting very calm, and horses react to energy. They kind of feed on energy. And I'm seeing a lot of horses extremely calm today because there's no crowd or anything to rile them up. Nobody yelling from this paddock, from the paddock fence, I should say, here at Aqueduct, kind of riling them up. It's something I'm going to keep an eye on all day. I watched the 4th race from the winner's circle, and at least the grooms and the handlers of the horses, the men and women that take care of these horses, they were rooting their horses home. So we did have some of that kind of positive energy, but eerily quiet here at Aqueduct on an absolutely beautiful day. I like that you talked about Basin, guys. He's the horse that I'm really looking forward to watching run today. He's a horse that made that step from 2 to 3. We always talk about a horse maturing from 2 to 3. This is a horse that's made a step that I think is going to really bode well for him going forward. He was impressive in the Hopeful on a sloppy track. He's going to get some moisture in the track at Oakland, and I love his work tab. He's a bigger, stronger horse this year. He's been training every 6 or 7 days. That tells me he's doing well. They're not having hiccups in his preparation, and he has 2 fast works, a 59 and a 6 furlongs and 112. That's not the way Steve Asmussen works his horses, but watching those workouts, it was because he was doing them so easily. I think Basin's going to stamp himself as a true player on this Triple Crown Trail today.
Meg, thank you. Well, back in that Grade 1 hopeful last summer at Saratoga, the Asmussen barn, they had 3 runners in that race. Gazilla was one of them as well. It was very highly touted, but they were highest on Basin back as a 2-year-old. So we'll see. He's going to make his first start around 2 turns in his 3-year-old debut today.
Mig made a great point there, too, about the times of his workouts. You see the 59 and change on February 25th and the 112 back on March 2nd, both at Fairgrounds. Steve Asmussen is more of a 50 and change trainer going the half mile. So a 59 for the 5 furlongs is very fast. He does not like his horses to work quick in the mornings.
That was a look at the Kentucky Derby leaderboard. We have had some big surprises already on the road to the Kentucky Derby. King Guillermo winning the Tampa Bay Derby just last week. We showed that to you, and now a horse who actually may train up to the Kentucky Derby. We'll talk more about some of the big prep winners a little bit later on in the show, but we'll see. Could a big surprise be in store today in Hot Springs?
You know, when you talk about a day that the track is maybe not fast, that's usually a day that you can see upsets. Already, Greg, we've shown 2 races on our show today, and they've both been double-digit horses, a $20 winner and a $30 winner from 2 different racetracks. So maybe today is going to be one of those shocking days.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. We have another Derby prep as well at Turfway Park. That is the Grade 3 Jeff Ruby Stakes. And a horse who is undefeated on synthetic, winner of the John Battaglia Memorial at Turfway Park back on Valentine's Day on February the 14th. The horse to beat for Wesley Ward, who's close to 40% right now at the meet.
Wesley doesn't take a huge string up there, but he puts the right horses up there and he puts them in the right spots. He was a 12-length winner, breaking his maiden, came right back to win the John Battaglia Memorial last time out. And I'll tell you, there was a really big scratch in there, Greg. Finnick the Fierce, the 8-horse in the Jeff Ruby Stakes, and I really liked that horse, so not seeing him go postward, I feel like really does mean Invader is absolutely the horse to beat.
Yeah, Finnick the Fierce, he actually had points already accrued on the way to the Kentucky Derby. We won't see him today, but Invader, he's reeled off back-to-back victories, both at Turfway by over 18 lengths combined. We'll see if he can make it 3 in a row and stay perfect at Turfway Park. We're going to step aside for a timeout. More live action on the way. We'll take you back to Aqueduct. The start of the late pick 5 is next here on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. Stay with us. We'll be back with a lot more next.
Go from Railbird to Winner's Circle. With My Racehorse, you have access to top horses and trainers, backside tours, exclusive ownership experiences, and fast payouts to your online account. With shares starting as little as $100, the Winner's Circle is waiting for you. Go to myracehorse.com or download the My Racehorse app today to join the thousands who have already started their journey as a racehorse owner.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
How's my hair look, Michelle?
We're back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. Our program brought to you in part by the champion sprinter, Run Happy. Never lost in his career while sprinting. Did it all while racing medication-free. And now standing in legendary stall number 1 at Claiborne Farm. I'm joined on set by CRO and president of Naira Bets, Tony Olivato, to talk about the latest developments, what is happening in the sport of horse racing. We've seen, Tony, obviously, the last few days, cancellations across just about every major sport, not just nationally, but worldwide. How is it that thoroughbred racing, and not just in Naira's case, but across the country, horse racing is able to go on?
Well, first of all, our thoughts and hearts go out to all those that are being affected by the virus. And, you know, it's impacting everybody in a different way. And from a horse racing standpoint, you know, the safety of our fans, our horsemen, the jockeys, the people, the employees of Naira is of the utmost importance. So we've taken all the precautionary steps that we believe can make it as safe as an environment as possible. At Naira and at most racetracks across the country that you're seeing, the gates are closed for the public. We're limiting it to the participants that are involved. The jockey's room has been isolated. It's an isolated environment to begin with. Even the media is not allowed to go into the jockey's room, which is the locker room of horse racing. So horse racing has kind of worked in that environment in the past. We're just being extra cautious now, as we should be.
And I think everyone was in a little bit of shock as we continue to see all these different leagues cancel or suspend their sports, but that's the reality right now. So horse racing, in a way, has sort of become the only game in town. What does this mean for the sport of horse racing?
Well, I think that, you know, in a small way, we have the opportunity to give people a distraction from what's going on. I mean, it's a tough time for everybody. There are not a lot of options out there from an entertainment standpoint. From a sports standpoint, there really is only horse racing and I believe the UFC at this point that are going on. So we think that we can be a little bit of a distraction for people, give people an opportunity to watch the shows. And also, let's not forget, there are in the state of New York alone, there are 19,000 jobs that are affected by horse racing, and it's a $3 billion a year business. Now take that across the United States and imagine the impact. So for a lot of people, the ability to come to the races and do their jobs is allowing them to get paid and allowing them to put food on the table. So we have a responsibility to those people to keep the show going on as long as we can. And for the general public, hopefully it gives them an opportunity to see our sport. We're now going to present it to some fans that probably haven't had a chance to see it in the past or have not watched a lot of horse racing, and they can benefit from it. One of the good things about horse racing is that, for the most part, horse racing is a TV sport. You see where most of the wagering dollars are coming now. It's almost 90% of it comes from online betting and over-the-top viewing of the races and watching on TV, like on Fox Sports today. So the sport has kind of been in a position where we can deal with not having fans on site, but still operating.
So horse racing continues, but doing so, to your point, very responsibly, without fans right now. How could this affect, though, down the line, our Triple Crown, our Kentucky Derby?
Well, when you talk about sporting events, I just mentioned that we're a TV sport. And while a lot of people do watch the Triple Crown on horse racing, obviously that's an event that is well attended and is driven by attendance. Right now, we're just taking a wait-and-see approach. Churchill Downs runs the first leg of the Triple Crown, obviously the Kentucky Derby. They made an announcement today that they will be announcing something later in the week as it pertains to the Kentucky Derby, which is traditionally run on the first Saturday of May, and their spring meet in general. So we'll follow the lead of them. We've been in contact with the Stronach Group, which runs the Preakness and Churchill Downs, and we'll follow the lead of the others. We are fortunate enough to be the last leg of the Triple Crown, so we don't have to rush to make any kind of a decision on anything we're going to do. But in the end, we're going to make the decision that's right and safe for everybody.
All right, Tony Olivato, CEO and president of Naira Bets, thank you very much. And again, as we get any new news on the Kentucky Derby, Triple Crown, we will again pass that along to you. We will be on next week. And I know you had a big part in putting this together. We'll be on Fox Sports 1 on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to go right to New York right now, loading up for the 5th at Aqueduct, $25,000 claiming race. It is for non-winners of 3 lifetime here in this 6.5 furlong sprint as they continue to load up. It's a Sunshine Gal, the 2, one of the favorites, but favored on the outside, Teletype, and that's because of the scratch of the 1 of Braxton, who would have been the speed in this race. With that horse gone, Teletype now becomes likely the lone speed on the outside race just 8 days ago, and already back in action off a win and off the claim for AC Avila. We send it out to John Imbrial. Race 5 started the late pick 5 from Aqueduct.
And number 8, Big Benny's Tribute. Now moving into line, just a bit hesitant there. Now goes in, and then we have to wait just on the 9-horse Teletype. And the Teletype moves in nicely. Field of 7 set to go, 6.5 furlongs. They're in the gate. And they're off. And it's Gentle Annie who goes out for the lead. Floss Dancer is there, Teletype on the extreme outside, and now Fair Lassie moves up. So it is Fair Lassie and Teletype, and in between those two, Gentle Annie, Sunshine Gal. The gray is at the rail in 4th. Right alongside is OK Honey. Floss Dancer is now back running in 6th, and Big Benny's Tribute is on the extreme outside and in 7th. The opening quarter, 23 and 3/5 seconds. Fair Lassie leads the field into the far turn with Teletype giving chase in 2nd. Then Gentle Annie, OK Honey, and Sunshine Gal, that trio all together. It's 4 lengths. Back to Floss Dancer, Big Benny's Tribute continues to trail in 7th. Up front, it is Fair Lassie, who has the lead here by 2.5 lengths. Teletype has dropped back, past there by Sunshine Gal, and on the outside, Gentle Annie, half mile 47 and 4. It's Fair Lassie trying to take them wire to wire here. Fair Lassie's in front now by 4 lengths. Then Sunshine Gal, OK Honey's on the outside, and Gentle Annie. Fair Lassie is going to do it here in front running style. Fair Lassie, wire to wire. Looked like OK Honey did get 2nd over Gentle Annie.
Fair Lassie, basically gate to wire in here for the Bruce Grossman barn. 3 wins now from 10 career starts, and no one able to put any pressure on this horse.
So interesting. She hasn't been a front runner since back in June of last year. Her last couple of outs have come from off the pace, and you said there was supposed to be a lone speed type front runner, but the best laid plans go wayside here. And Fair Lassie returning to the front end and able to hold on very convincingly at the end. Great class drop here to get her 3rd lifetime victory.
Luis Cardenas in the irons for the win. Goes off at 5-2 in the end, went off second choice here in this race. There were a few scratches that made the difference and resulted in that. Daughter of Dublin with the victory. And the late pick 5 underway. Fair Lassie, gate to wire, race 5 at Aqueduct as we go back to Oakland Park. And a maiden special weight coming up in their 5th race on the card. 2-turn mile and a 16th. That will be the same distance of today's Rebel later on this afternoon in this 5th race here. Blackberry Wine. This horse was in the Grade 2 Risen Star last start as a maiden for Joe Sharp.
Well, technically has crossed the wire in front twice, but was disqualified from those wins. So Joe Sharp able now to take advantage of that and put the horse back in.
Let's go back to that for a minute. You don't hear that very often. Twice this horse crossed the finish line first and was DQ'd.
That's right. There were some extenuating circumstances for that. So, but it is a big class drop here. The fact that he's already broken his maiden against maiden special weights and beat Allowance Company means it really should be his race to lose.
Yeah, one of those wins was against Winners where he got DQ'd. So 4-5 justified on Blackberry Wine. We'll see if he can get it done this afternoon. There's a stake schedule for Oakland Park later on this afternoon. The Essex Handicap, Grade 2 Azeri. That's where we'll see last year's Kentucky Oaks winner, Serengeti Empress, back in action. But that is a loaded field that she's going to tackle.
That is such a great field, Greg. You're right. That was actually one of the most exciting races, I thought, taking a look at what we were going to be covering on the show. And I just thought, oh, this horse has a chance. So does this horse. And this, I mean, it is loaded top to bottom in there.
And Grade 1 winner, Street Band in there, Lady Apple, multiple graded stakes winner. She's undefeated at Oakland. They are going to line up against Serengeti Empress, who was defeated last time out. But Tom Amos said this time we're not going to play around at all. We're going to use our speed as much as we can to our advantage.
Can I give you a $2 place bet in this field here, Greg?
Absolutely. And again, you can take advantage of this if you are playing with Naira Bets. Use that promo code Rebel20 and you get a free $20 to play with however you choose with Naira Bets.
So I think the 6 Jasiri is really interesting in here. He's actually a half to 2-time stakes winner, Isotherm, who runs majorly out here on the West Coast. If you look at every race that he has had issues. He's either been bumped, he hasn't started good, he's been pushed back. The one time that he had kind of a clean trip, he was drawn in the 11 hole out of 11. I just feel like, and he's a late colt too, he was not born until May, so he's, you know, quote unquote, technically a 2-year-old. I just think he's got a lot of upside here. I don't think he can upset Blackberry Wine today, although you never know with the rain, because Bernardini's, I feel like, flourish in an off track. But a horse that could maybe make some noise in the exotics at a huge price, I think he's interesting if he gets a clean trip.
And here's the other thing with the big favorite. Now 1-2 was, didn't think you were going to get 4-5, but with Blackberry Wine, one of those races where he was DQ'd out of a win, it was a sloppy racetrack, Churchill, and he dominated that group. He ran one of the best numbers of his career as well. So the off track should not hinder him. It might help him today.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, you know, one thing you have to remember, though, is that was a race that was taken off of the turf course. So the horses he was facing in there were not necessarily dirt-type horses. So after that, they did try him again on the grass and to no avail. But then they put him on the dirt and he was able to beat Winner. So maybe they just kind of sidetracked their way into being a dirt horse. Oxbow, while he was a dirt horse himself, he did win the Preakness Stakes. I feel like he has been a very proficient turf sire. So I see where they were going, putting him on the grass to begin with.
And of course, our colleague Gary Stevens was on board for that Preakness victory. He's going to be joining us a little bit later on in the show. The other thing with the big favorite, Michelle, it looks like he does his best running when he's on the lead or forwardly placed, and it looks like, I mean, there's some sprinters with sprint speed stretching out, so he might have some company in here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how he's going to be able to handle that, because if you take a look, he's done his best running on the front end, but the times were not very fast. I mean, the allowance that he won, they went 24 and change, 48 and change, so they picked it up toward the end, but, you know, earlier on, I feel like they were not necessarily going very fast, so I'm interested to see if he's committed to being on the front, or if that was just I inherited the lead, so I won that way.
Probably the biggest thorn in his side, potentially, is the 2 Sturgill, who showed sprint speed in his debut going 6 furlongs, and now they're going to stretch out. Son of Take Charge Indy from post 2 there for Carl Broberg in the second start of his career. 25-1, and there he is loading up.
You know, a horse that showed speed and then faded on debut to stretch out, I think, is an excellent angle to look at. Broberg, 29% with his maidens making their second starts. And you take a look at the pedigree here. Really wants to go 2 turns. The mom, the dam, Nicole's Dream, was an 11-time stakes winner.
So again, for you, if you were using some of that $20 free play, you would use it on
the 6, a little bit on the 6.
Long shot, Jasiri, 56-1. So you could, if you're playing from home, you've never done this before, you could start slowly, win, place, or show, and dip your toe in, see how it goes. Vic Stauffer with the call. Here's race 5 from Oakland.
The last horse to load will be What a Country. They're at the post. They're off. Blackberry Wine is asked for speed by Martin Garcia. Boating Party and Sturgill are also quick. These 3 race out. What a Country and Jasiri are next. Then Dream on Me Baby, Overshadow and Stock Deal with Shaka at the rail. And the early trailer is Special Price. Sturgill quicker than the favorite Blackberry Wine to the backstretch. Sturgill leads by a length and a half. Blackberry Wine tracks from second, 2 lengths to Jasiri, and Boating Party third and fourth. Dream on Me Baby is fifth with 4 lengths to make up. First time starter What a Country is at the rail. Overshadow has 7 to close. Shaka's at the rail 4. Luis Saez and 8 off the lead. Stock Deal outside of him. And the trailer is Special Price, and Blackberry Wine makes his move outside of Sturgill. Sturgill just a neck in front from Blackberry Wine, who is loaded and ready to go going into the far turn. He's 2.5 or 3 lengths in front of Boating Party and Jasiri. Dream on Me Baby is fifth, now with 7 lengths to make up. What a Country's inside of him. Shaka is 10 from the new leader, and that leader's name is Blackberry Wine, and now he gets away rounding the far turn. Blackberry Wine suddenly 5 lengths in front. Boating Party and What a Country are moving past Sturgill, then Dream on Me Baby. Shaka is double digits from the lead, and Jasiri and Blackberry Wine is in a race of his all by himself at the top of the stretch. Blackberry Wine leads by a full 8, 9, maybe even 10 lengths. What a Country, the first time starter, is running a great race in second. Then to the outside and Boating Party, followed by Overshadow, but Blackberry Wine is dominating. He's now 12 or more in front. What a Country might think he won because he's so far into second, but he didn't. Blackberry Wine coasts and scores. Blackberry Wine won by 14. What a Country was second, Overshadow third. Dream on Me Baby finished fourth.
14-length win, according to Vic Stauffer. Blackberry Wine, that seems like value at odds on.
Obviously, this horse really does like the slop. He had a 5-length score in his first time breaking his maiden. Really nice job here by Joe Sharp to get this horse in for an $87,000 maiden special weight purse now that he was eligible again, and just runs away. This is virtually a paid workout for this horse.
As easy as could be for Blackberry Wine as we check in at Turfway Park for the Animal Kingdom, who of course won the Kentucky Derby after a prep race at Turfway Park. 6.5 furlongs in the Animal Kingdom. And the favorite right now, Merchants of Cool. That is the 7 for Wesley Ward. Back-to-back wins coming sprinting at Turfway.
Big days at Turfway Park are usually synonymous with Wesley Ward. This horse, very like his stablemate Invader, broke his maiden impressively by double digits. He won by 10. He came back to win an allowance race at Turfway last time out. Didn't have a clean break that day and was still able to be best, just winning by a head. So it wasn't double-digit win his next time out, but stepping up here, I think that he's very interesting, and he's definitely the horse to beat.
And meanwhile, it's called the Animal Kingdom. The trainer of Animal Kingdom, Graham Motion, he will send out the 6. Torres del Paine, you got to look at that stakes schedule still ahead. A lot coming up, including a Derby prep in the Jeff Ruby and the Bourbonnette Oaks on the road to the Kentucky Oaks.
I'm glad that you mentioned Torres del Paine because I think he's super interesting in here. A son of Caraconte gets a cutback in distance. He was last seen running a mile and a 16th and will return to sprinting. He's already stakes placed. He's very intriguing in here. And Graham Motion does train over a synthetic racetrack up at Fair Hill with this 3-year-old.
Jim McNerney with the call. It is the Animal Kingdom, race 6 from Turfway Park, in Wesley Ward with the runner to beat here, Merchants of Cool, the 7, here on Fox Sports 2.
And they are off in the 34th edition of the Mayor's Electric Company Animal Kingdom Stakes. It was a quick beginning for My Man of Flintstone. Also quick into stride up on the outside, Torrals de Piney. There goes a Williston Way up and after the lead. So they leave the shoot and they straight for the main course. It's a Williston Way shows the way. My Man Flintstone to the inside second. Bango off the gate in third. News to Me advancing to the inside fourth. Then comes Howard of Luck way in fifth. Torrals de Piney is 6 and about 7 off the pace. Merchants of Cool, the favorite. The gray is out in the clear and starting to close in, still 6 or 7. Back to a Monks who's at the back of the pack. They fired the quarter, 21 seconds flat. My Man Flintstone in 94-1 shot. Williston Way show the way. Here's Bango moves a closer third. Now Merchants of Cool cut loose to the outside, and here comes the son of Trap Shot up and after the pace setters. The half mile was a blistering 43-3, and they race 4 across the track as they turn on down for the money. My Man Flintstone will turn first. Here's Merchants of Cool up to the outside. Meanwhile, Bango's getting a dream trip from between horses with a furlong to go. Here's Bango up and after My Man Flintstone. Merchants of Cool is stalled back in third. Amongst from last is racing up for the spoils, but no doubt about the winner. Bango with Bayerotto back in Kentucky takes the 34th edition of the Animal Kingdom and stops the timer at a fast 1:14.4, and that's a new track record.
New track record indeed for Bango. They were flying early in this race.
Yeah, they went 21 and change and then 43 for the half. That is so fast, and you got to give a lot of credit because the horse that put up a lot of the heavy lifting on the front end hung around to the final stages. But Bango, a nice win there. Rafael Bejarano shipping in for the ride for Greg Foley. Those two used to team together way back in the day when Rafi was an apprentice. He got a lot of rides from Greg Foley.
It was a big effort from My Man Flintstone. That was a horse in front, carving out those fractions, taking some heat early too, but holding up for second. 9-3-7 in the end. Merchants of Cool, the Wesley Ward favorite, winds up third, but it's Bango with the win. Meanwhile, back at Oakland, Blackberry Wine, a horse who was in the Grade 2 Risen Star last time out as a maiden, unfortunately was disqualified out of a couple of victories, will get the win today at a very short price.
You say unfortunately, but he goes back to the start and is able to go ahead and graduate again. So nice add to the pockets there. A son of Oxbow for the victory in his 8th career start.
Rebel Stakes still to come from Oakland, and so is the Kentucky Oaks winner from last year. Serengeti Empress trainer Tom Amos wasn't even sure if he was going to go to the Oaks. Turned out to be the right decision. We'll be back with the Empress making her return next.
Eclipse champion Blame. Ranked among the top stallions of his crop, Blame has sired over 50 stakes horses. His recent top performers include Kentucky Derby hopefuls Shotsky, winner of the Grade 2 Rimson Stakes, and rising star Nadal, a $700,000 juvenile purchase and winner of the Grade 2 San Vicente. Plus recent Grade 1 performers Mississippi, Alandra, and Natalma Stakes winner Abscond. Outstanding value, outstanding results. Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com.
He's always been a beautiful moving horse. Got a great attitude, real simple to be around, and and he's done everything we've asked him. He walks like he's on wheels. He takes that with him to the racetrack, and when you breeze him, he doesn't move his legs quicker. He just extends his stride. I mean, he looks like a horse that's got speed, but he might carry it a little bit too, and that's the thing about him. He's an athlete.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Leora and Channing Hill on the outside of Serengeti Empress, who digs in toward the rail. It's these two, Ladyappolis third, the others with plenty of work to do. It's down to these two and Serengeti Empress, who's holding off the challenge of Leora as they come down to the line. Serengeti Empress has taken the Kentucky Oaks.
Post 13 off at odds of 13 to 1. Serengeti Empress. She took last year's Kentucky Oaks, and down the backside, Tom Amos's wife Colleen turned to Tom, said, "That's too fast." The fraction she was putting up, 23-1, 46-3. Tom replied, "Not for her, it's not."
Sometimes you just have to let them roll, Greg. That's their best weapon, and if you let them use it, they will come out victorious, just like Serengeti Empress did last year.
She is incredibly quick. I actually thought maybe one of the best performances of her career was in defeat in the test last summer against Kofefe at Saratoga.
Oh, yeah, she ran lights out. I feel like she's put in a lot of really good efforts. I actually wasn't displeased with her effort in the Breeders' Cup distaff even. So I think lots of positives about Serengeti Empress. I'm okay with her being beat last time out in the Houston Ladies Classic as well.
Well, in that Ladies Classic, Tom Amos, he felt they should have just run away with it. You know, Flavien Prat did a nice job of kind of slowing things down a little bit, conserving some energy, and in the end, it might have cost her.
Well, that's what we were just talking about, right? Sometimes their greatest weapon is their speed, and when you hold it back and have a horse that's not delivering on their greatest weapon, then they just don't have anything left to fire with at the end. She still hung around there and tried, but you can see the other three fillies in the race just gonna kind of outgame her. Or, you know, come close to outgaming her. Lady Apples, she had already beaten her in that Kentucky Oaks that we got to watch. But as horses turn the page and they get a little bit older, horses definitely change, and some horses we'll see improve as they get to an older age. So it'll be interesting to see now if Serengeti Empress goes and she's kind of just let loose to run free, if she's able to fend off Lady Apple.
That was her first start back in about 3 months. There is some speed outside, not near the class of Serengeti Empress, but could Awe Emma hurt her chances in this race?
You know, if you know you're not as fast as another horse, right? You know you're not as fast as Serengeti Empress. It's kind of like you're just going to throw all caution to the wind trying to go and outpace her, right? I would just let her go and try and set off of her.
Well, she's a 5-time winner, $1.5 million in earnings. She's finished second in 3 of her last 5, hit the board, ran third in the Breeders' Cup distaff as well. I would have loved to have seen her go in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint and get another run at Kofefe.
You know,
but they opted to go in the distaff.
And I like the fact that they did that because it really does show her versatility. She has just thrown down her A game at multiple distances, at multiple racetracks. What a great gift she has been for Joe Pilati and Tom Amos.
Meanwhile, back at Turfway Park in the Animal Kingdom, it was Bango. Greg Foley, Rafael Bejarano, $14.60. Prices continue.
Prices, except for the one race that I wanted to have a price come in second.
The way it works.
But I like to see other prices. And on stakes days, when you get all these horses coming in from different places, look, Bango was a shipper, had been training down at the fairgrounds, didn't even have a work over the synthetic surface, which is generally something I look for, Greg, and is able to get a great ride here coming down wide under Rafael Bejarano.
New track record again, and keep your eyes on my man Flintstone, who was on the lead in that race, ran huge in defeat. Back at Aqueduct, race 6, it's the start of the late pick 4 starter optional claiming race, 3/4 of a mile. Power Up Painter, the morning line favorite for trainer Linda Rice, was a maiden winner at this track 2 starts back as we check in with the MIG.
Greg, this is a really good group of a good-looking group of horses, I should say. Just a solid, contentious kind of race. 3 horses that really stood out here in the paddock to me, though, starting with the one, Polar Bear Pete. This horse has been facing tougher company, but from a physical perspective, he really could not look any better. He's kind of a smaller, slighter built kind of horse, but extremely well balanced. He looks terrific here in the paddock. I love the flesh he's carrying. I love his coat, and I think he's going to deliver his best shot today, the one, Polar Bear Pete. The 3, Power Painter, your morning line favorite. Boy, he's just a big, powerful horse all the way through. Carries a lot of weight, real strong hind end on him. Couldn't look any better. I just prefer a little better price on the 1 horse, Polar Bear Pete. And then the 7 horse, who just is shipping in from Laurel, Justin Front. Boy, this horse couldn't look any better for trainer Chris Engelhardt. He's carrying great flesh as well. He's the most accomplished horse in the field with 3 wins, and he really making a nice impression here in the paddock as well. So a really good group, and we know it's not a beauty contest, but certainly those are horses that are making the best impressions.
Meg, thanks. Sometimes they will tip their hand and let you know they're ready to run a big race. We just saw Power Up Painter, the 3, who's the 7-5 favorite, move by. This will be his second try against Winners.
You know, Power Up Painter ran really well in his first time versus Winners. It was a compact field of 5 that day, and he was clear in front, settled for second. And I don't know if that was maybe Jose Lezcano feeling a little overconfident in the ride, or if the horse legitimately got a little tired late on.
Here comes our post spread. We start with Polar Bear Pete for Eddie Barker and Dylan Davis aboard at 3-1.
In here for the $50,000 tag because of the conditions of this race, but has run very well against tougher company. He had a nice work recently over at Belmont as well.
Luxury Suite dropped to the lowest level he'd ever run at, and he got a maiden claiming win.
Surprising to see Falcone 0 for 15 right now at the meet. This will be Luxury Suite's first time versus Winners. He's by New Year's Day, who is the sire of Maximum Security.
Power Up Painter got bumped a bit, but broke his maiden, was off the pace that day, was on the lead last start.
Would like to see what's going to happen today. I wonder if that was just, you know, kind of circumstantial with him running second after being in front by 2.
We will see speed with this one, rejected again.
And rejected again for Gary Gullo, coming in off a 3rd place finish last time out. I didn't love that effort from him, but like you said, speed and hopefully uncontested speed.
Bonga Scratch, so take out the 5. The 6-horse Big Long Shot and more speed with Skippin' on Orchard.
Was a 5-length maiden winner, 2 starts back at Aqueduct, and settled for 3rd last time out, but that was 3rd in a 4-horse field. Had tons of pressure up front. They went too fast, and he just couldn't maintain.
Eric Cancel, Chris Engelhardt team up with Justin Front.
I like a horse that's already a 3-time winner when you're talking about a lot of horses going first-time winners. The Mig said this one looked good in the paddock. I have to agree, but going to be a company test here as he ships into Aqueduct. The majority of his horses have been at Laurel.
And Combat Ridden, he came from way off the pace in his debut, broke his maiden. He was claimed out of that race.
What a smart move there by John Toscano to pick up a horse that was going to win on debut.
We're going to take a break in the action. Irad Ortiz Jr., Eclipse Award winner each of the last 2 years, teaming up with Mike Maker, and they are going to be busy today. Some like it hot brown in the Kentucky Cup Classic. Field Pass in the Jeff Ruby on the road to the Derby. It's all ahead.
Thanks to all breeders, owners, and trainers who have supported medication-free stallion Run Happy. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farms.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Catholic Boy, one of only 3 American 3-year-old colts in history to win Grade 1s on both dirt and turf, including the immortal Secretariat. A graded stakes winner at 2, 3, and 4, from coast to coast, from 7.5 furlongs to 1.25 miles. In 2018, the fastest 3-year-old in the country over 10 furlongs by internationally successful sire More Than Ready. Catholic Boy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
We're back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. Thank you again for spending part of your Saturday afternoon with us this weekend. On Sunday, we'll be back again with more live action featuring Aqueduct and Oakland Park. That'll be live on FS2 from 3 to 6:30 Eastern Time. Joining me in studio, Hall of Famer, 3-time Kentucky Derby champion, Gary Stevens. Gary, what is it like for you? You compete in front of all these big crowds all across the world, and you walk into this racetrack, and the racetracks all across the country, and we're seeing empty stands. What's it like for the riders?
Well, I'll tell you, Greg, these guys are competitors, and it doesn't matter if there's fans out here today or not. They're going to be pumped up, ready to do it. We're the only show in town right now, and, you know, they've got to put a show on for America right now, tough times. So they're enthused, and they're going to be ready to rock and roll today.
We're going to get back to New York right now. The 6th from Aqueduct is coming up. That is the start of the late pick 4 ahead. And Power Up Painter for Linda Rice. Still the horse to beat on the board and all the way down to even money right now as we are all set. John Imbrial with the call. Race 6 from New York here on Fox Sports 2. You're watching America's Day at the Races as the favorite moves in line.
And this 6th race, along with the other legs of the late pick 4, all at the 6 furlong distance. We still have a few more to go in. Number 7 just in front, stepping up to the starting gate, just in front with those white blinkers. And now we have one horse remaining, and that is number 8, Combat Ribbon. And a Combat Ribbon goes in. Field of 7, set to go. And the rough. Skipping on Orchard, right out for the lead. Rejected again is racing in second. And on the far outside, it is a Combat Ribbon. Now just in front, moves up a spot. Polar Bear Pete is down at the rail and racing in 5th. Power Up Painter at this point is in 6th, 5 lengths off the lead. Luxury Suite is the trailer in 7th. Rejected again and Skipping on Orchard. And the two of them are heads apart for the lead after a quarter in 23 and 2. It's 2.5 lengths back to just in front in 3rd. Power Up Painter has now advanced into 4th, 4.5 off the lead. And farther back it is Polar Bear Pete, Combat Ribbon, and Luxury Suite continues to trail. They're moving for the head of the stretch. Rejected again on the inside. And on the outside, it's Skipping on Orchard as Power Up Painter advances into 3rd. The half, 47 and 1, 3/16 to the finish. On the outside, Skipping on Orchard. Rejected again at the rail. Power Up Painter is in 3rd. Then just in front, Polar Bear Pete is out in the middle of the track. They hit the 16th pole. It is Skipping on Orchard, trying to pull off a big upset here. The favorite, Power Up Painter, is second. Skipping on Orchard does it at odds of 31 to 1.
Skipping on Orchard, big prices continue here. 31 to 1 as you heard. David Canizzo, the trainer of the son of Bodemeister.
3rd race off the layoff right here. And I'll tell you what, his last race wasn't that bad. He flashed some speed in there, flashed speed again today, and took him all the way in extremely game race because he was hooked every step of the way. Favorite, big favorite, Power Up Painter. Far back early, you can see all the mud on him covered up there, but big race from Power Up Painter.
Favorite trying to make a run late. Man, even money, that 3-horse there with Jose Lezcano, but not going to get to that 31 to 1 shot. And this late pick 5, wow, that is the one price you need. 31 to 1, and with a race with a very heavy favorite in it as well, it's going to pay great.
Yeah, it is going to pay great. And I'll tell you what, you folks that signed up for Naira Bets today and got your $20 free, you don't have to bet all these pick 5s. You could have just bet that horse to show or win $2 and made a lot of money there today. You don't have to play all these exotics. You can play win, place, and show. That's what I'm going to do today is have a little fun with some $2 show. I'm going to do some parlays, and then I'm going to hit them hard later on with a win bet.
All right, again, go to NairaBets.com. Use that promo code REBEL20, REBEL20, to get involved and get that $20 free play. We're back at Oakland. Race 6. Coming up next in background right now, favored with Tyler Bays aboard. This 6th race, an allowance optional claiming group, a 2-turn mile and a 16th coming up. And inside, outside, taking most of the money, and here that one, Tyshawn, taking money as well.
Yeah, in background, he was 6-1 on the morning line. He was who I'm going to start out with on my $2 show parlay. Hopefully he gets the money here and we can keep it rolling.
Well, with more on this 6th from Oakland, we go to Hot Springs and check in with Nancy Holthus.
Thanks so much. Well, several of these runners have come out of Graded Stakes Company and have faced Graded Stakes Company since taking on Maiden. Interestingly enough, Tyshawn is right now the favorite at 9-5. Richard Baltus brought him in, and when I interviewed Richard off that Southwest when they were on the track for post parade, he said, regardless of how this horse runs, I'm going to leave him here. And he said, if he doesn't win, if he doesn't hit the board, he will be taking on allowance runners as we see him today. Now, Tyshawn is going to race over an off track for the first time today, and since I've seen you guys, we have gone from muddy to sloppy. He is right now the 8-5 favorite. Joel Rosario will be in the irons for the first time today. When I was in the paddock, the favorite was one of 2 Jeremiah Englehart contenders. That was the 5 Captain Bombastic. He was 12-1 on the morning line, and he is a New York State Stakes winner, and he is coming off a break, but he ran 3rd over the slop at 7 furlongs last go against State-bred Stakes contenders. But he also sends out a horse that raced in the Southwest. That is Villainous. He's got 2 in here, but I'm going to go just to the inside of them with the number 3 Ready to Roll. He returned in the Risen Star, that grade 2 event, which they ran in divisions. He might have been a little overmatched, but if you look 2 back, guys, he went gate to wire here at Oakland at 1 1/16 to break his maiden, and the hard knocker Hickory, I like to call him Stuart Elliott, was in the irons. But this race is completely deep, loaded with talent, and a wide open 3-year-old allowance. But the question, could we possibly see one of these in the Arkansas Derby? Greg?
We shall see as you take a look at those prices from Aqueduct to race 6. Huge number, $65 horse skipping on Orchard. You never know. A horse could still has time in the game to jump up, assert himself, and if they show talent, get to that Arkansas Derby, which, of course, the Rebels, the big prep today, but April 14th, not that far away for the Arkansas Derby if a horse does show that kind of talent.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple connections, as Nancy mentioned. Tyshawn, if he happens to jump up and run big coming out of the Southwest last time, I think you could see him back in the Arkansas Derby. The same could be said for Background. I know they're very high on Background. I happened to be there that day that he broke his maiden. It was the same day as the Southwest, so they've got high hopes for him as well.
And April 11th, excuse me, the Arkansas Derby, but of course we have the Rebel to come first. So baby steps as we line up for race 6 here at Oakland, 1 1/16. Vic Stauffer with the call.
They're at the post. They're off. Davidic Line and Tyshawn shows speed. Captain Bombastic between horses. These 3, Tyshawn and Captain Bombastic, as Davidic Line's going to take back and sit 3rd. Then Shackelford's Joy, Villainous, and Ready to Roll, followed by Background, who's made it to the rail. Nice move, Tyler Bays, and the trailer is Life on the Road. To the backstretch they run, and Tyshawn is headstrong for Joel Rosario, and Tyshawn leads by 2 lengths to Captain Bombastic, who is 2nd. Then comes Davidic Line, Shackelford's Joy, and Villainous with Ready to Roll at the rail. That 3rd flight is all 3 from the front. Background has 7 lengths to make up, and he's 2.5 in front of the trailer, Life on the Road. As they're midway on the backstretch, Tyshawn and a closer Captain Bombastic. Tyshawn 3/4 of a length to Captain Bombastic, who continues on the attack in 2nd. Shackelford's Joy runs outside of Villainous, Davidic Line, and Ready to Roll. Now that 3rd flight is only 2 from the front. Background has 6 lengths to make make up. Life on the Road has trailed throughout, and Captain Bombastic is within a neck of the front-running Tyshawn. Tyshawn leads Captain Bombastic with every chance to outfinish him in the final 2.5 furlongs. Villainous races next. Background's on the move. And here comes Background, 4 wide, but up into third. Within 2.5 lengths of the lead, Tyshawn and Captain Bombastic off the turn. Tyshawn maintains that neck advantage. Captain Bombastic is second. Background is third and 3 from Tyshawn, who has now had enough of Captain Bombastic, and he's gone. Tyshawn is now 4 in front. Captain Bombastic left in second. Background third. Tyshawn. Wow, big win. Tyshawn won by 4, could have been more. Captain Bombastic second. Background third. Villainous finished fourth.
Tyshawn with the win. Joel Rosario aboard for the victory. He has a big one still to come later today in the Rebel, riding for Bob Baffert on Nadal.
Yeah, and a confident ride here today from Joel on Tyshawn. He got away bad, bobbled in the Southwest Stakes, and had a rough trip. And this is a perfect race right here that sets you up for a race like the Southwest, or for the Arkansas Derby. Joel gearing down here at the end with a lot left, and a confidence builder, and don't be surprised if you don't see him in the gate coming out of this race well, if he does, back in the Arkansas Derby.
Flatters the form of Silver Prospector, who we're going to see tackle Nadal in that Rebel. Of course, Silver Prospector, the winner of that race. Got a very nice trip, but got to win at Oakland over the surface in that stakes victory. Tyshawn gets the job done, sent a twirling candy for Richard Baltus, and Joel Rosario aboard for the winning ride. Meanwhile, back in New York, 31-1 shot skipping on Orchard was dangerous because of his speed here, and Raylu Gutierrez taking advantage, 65.50 for the win.
Yeah, and looking on paper, now that looks like simple math, the 65.50. It looks like he did have a chance in the race, and he did. And Raylu giving him a confident ride, and comes away an impressive winner today.
6-3-4 finish. 50-cent trifecta, $329 if you happen to put that together. Race 7, New York bred entry-level allowance. It is 3/4 of a mile, and Peggy Sue favored at 8-5 right now on the outside. Second off the claim for the Linda Rice Barn.
Yeah, and coming out of a race that this is state breds today, and coming out of a 4th place finish last time out against Open Company. And this looks like a great spot for Peggy Sue with Derek Cancel aboard today.
This week's cross-country Pick 5, it picks up with the Jeff Ruby Stakes from Turfway Park, includes the Grade 2 Rebel from Oakland, kicks off in the 9th at Aqueduct. You can find it listed as XCP5 on Naira Bets. Full schedule and free PPs at naira.com/cross-country. Back at Turfway Park. Stakes action continues. The Latonia, purse of $100,000. Fillies and Mares, 4 and up in a wide open tote board right now. Speedy Solution was the morning line favorite, but right at her 7-2 morning line for Wesley Ward. She comes in off a win last start.
Yeah, it is a wide open race here. It's shown speed. All 3 of her starts, all 3 of her prior last starts, been off since May of last year, but has been working on a regular basis down at Palm Meadows in South Florida. Comes in here today, been working on the turf there. Goes on to the synthetic today for the only, well, has actually never run on synthetic, but most of these turf horses adapt very well to the synthetic here at Turfway Park. So Speedy Solution, trying today.
This one here is so interesting. This is the 4 Rogue 2. She has reeled off 5 consecutive victories. She is 7 for 8 on this surface at Turfway Park. She is on quite a roll, and she is very quick, too.
Yeah, and she's actually just moved to the 3-1 favorite here. And there's not a lot of speed in this race. The inside horse is going to show some speed in here. Outside of that, I think Rogue 2 is going to have everything to herself on the front end.
So she has become the favorite, and easy to see why. 5 consecutive victories, that record at Turfway Park, hard to look past. 7 for 8 lifetime. But there's some other contenders in the spot as well. We have a horse coming in from Southern California in the 9 Harmless, who's been primarily on turf.
And she's going to show some speed, I think, as well for Bob Hess. And came straight out of Santa Anita. She actually worked at Santa Anita on the training track on March 8th, third of 10 of all the works that morning. She's actually got a win on synthetic in her career, so is filling in with a big shot today as well with Kendrick Carmouche. Kendrick's on some live horses all day long today. Good speed rider, so yeah, we've got to keep a lookout for the number 9, Harmless.
Yeah, he's at his best as a rider when he's out in front on a horse who is quick. No question. Kendrick likes to take advantage of that.
Horse, the 10 horse, Miss Mosaic, Chris Landeros aboard. I think that Miss Mosaic is a live long shot in here. Sits just off of the pace. If he can work out a trip, get over to the rail, going into that first turn, save some ground, I think that Miss Mosaic is a live long shot in here.
That is the 10 on the board at 17-1 for Ben Colebrook. Jeannie's Beep Beep, the 11 next door. That's more speed. She is undefeated. She debuted December 2018 at Tampa, was off for a year, and has come back and won 2 in a row for Tony Granitz. The Latonia, 7th from Turfway Park. We are all set. Jim McNerney with the call.
91-1 will complete the full gate of 12 here for Latonia. 3-1 favorite Rogue 2 going for her 8th career victory here at Turfway from 9 starts. Flash and dances in. They are at the post. And they're off in the 38th running of the Latonia. For the lead, Rogue 2 from between horses, Harmless up on the outside. Call Me Kayla away into 3rd position. Miss Mosaic off the gate in 4th. Jenny's Beep Beep spun out of the 6th path as they take on the first turn. As expected, Rogue 2 shows the way, but she'll be pressed as Alvin Jimenez and Jenny's Beep Beep will have none of that. These two hook up, they're stride for stride, and they've quickened at least 3 lengths better than Harmless, who's away in 3rd. Flash and Dance is 4th, then comes Call Me Kayla, who settles on 5th as they turn up the backside. Miss Mosaic is next, then come Gorgeous and Rags advancing to the outside. Red Dane. Made in the Miss is about a dozen lengths off the lead, then 4 for the back to Rum and Ice, who's followed up next by New Rue and Speedy Solution out at the back of the pack behind a quarter of 23 and 2/5 seconds. Rogue 2 let out a notch from Jeannie's Beep Beep past the half, and she took the half 46 and 2. Rogue 2, the 7-time Turfway winner, shows the way in the far turn by 3. Jenny's Beep Beep had no answer. She's back into 2nd. Harmless passes her to the inside, and Flash and Dance, the big long shot, to the outside. Gorgeous and Rags is next. Meanwhile, from last, Speedy Solution is picking him off. She still has 12 lengths to raise, though, as they arrive at the quarter-mile marker. And Rogue 2 paving that poly path after 3/4 in a quick 1:10 and 4. And Rogue 2 once again will turn first. And Rogue 2 will turn on down in the Latonia. She's in front by 6. Harmless has raced up into 2nd. Speedy Solution to the inside. But Rogue 2, what a horse for the course. Rogue 2 with a 60 to go has an insurmountable lead. She'll pick up her 8th victory from 9 starts, and the Latonia goes to Dougie Danner and Andy Jansich. Rogue 2 all the way up top through those fast fractions, home in 1:36 and 4.
Well, they're continuing to motor over this racetrack at Turfway Park, and Rogue 2, she is such a neat filly, especially here at Turfway Park, 8 for 9 now.
And taking advantage of this speedy track today. We saw a track record earlier on today, and they took it to them early on here and never looked back. Nobody really closed any ground in that last 1/8 of a mile, even the last 1/4 of a mile. This race was over midway through the backstretch.
That seems to be what the same formula would be for Serengeti Empress later today in the Azeri, try and run them off their feet. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. Rogue 2 does it again. 8 wins from 9 starts at Turfway Park. When we come back, Bob Baffert and Nadal, the San Vicente winner, trying to stretch out around 2 turns for the first time. Next.
Coming on strong. Minute to stardom. On top, coming down to the final 16th, opening up a 2-length lead. My love for you.
Wild About Star, shining big here in Berry 1.
Oh, why did I wrong?
Testing 1, 2. The Star Guitar filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing 1, 2.
Feel my love for you.
coming on strong.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com.
Run Happy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. Greg Wolf, Hall of Famer Gary Stevens with you. And still to come later today from Hot Springs, Arkansas, the Grade 2 Rebel. 85 points up for grabs for qualifying to get into that starting gate for the Kentucky Derby. 50 points to the winner, which is good enough to qualify. And Nadal for Bob Baffert. He is undefeated, Gary, but he is lightly raced, and now he's going to try 2 turns for the first time. Is he up to the task?
I think he is up to the task. We'll find out here shortly, but the race that he ran in the San Vicente was an outstanding race. We've got, we're showing Basin right now.
Right there. We'll get to Basin in a moment, who we saw run very impressively, won a Grade 1 as a 2-year-old last summer. But back to Nadal. We'll get the right race up here in just a moment. You were saying, you know, he hasn't broken extremely sharp out of the gate either of his first 2 races, but he makes up ground very quickly.
Yeah, he does make ground up very quickly. And I'll tell you what, when he ran in San Vicente, he ran like a route horse. And he showed and flashed big speed. The fractions were extremely fast throughout the race. He went 21 and change, 44 flat. That's rolling. And everyone's talking about his slow last 16th of a mile, or 1/8 of a mile. Yeah, it was slow. It was 13 and change, but deservedly so after what he did. And this was a big confidence builder, I think, for Nadal, and it made him grow up a lot here. He fought back, had every right to cave in and quit. I remember back in 1997, there was a horse that I wound up riding in the Kentucky Derby. I didn't ride him in the San Vicente. Chris McCarron rode him. His name was Silver Charm. And it made him a man that day, and he moved forward from that. And I'm expecting Nadal to move forward today, and I think he's going to have to with the likes of Silver Prospector.
Yeah, beat a horse in that San Vicente named Ginobili. That was a horse who was making his first start off a 4-month layoff. Couldn't quite put him really in the dust, hung around with him, still beat him. We'll see if he takes another forward move here this afternoon. That is the Grade 2 Rebel, race 10 on the road to the Kentucky Derby coming up later on this afternoon. Meanwhile, back at Turfway Park, Rogue 2 just keeps on winning 6 in a row now. 10th career victory from 28 starts.
Yeah, and you get $8.40 back, $4, $3.20 for the show. Speedy Solution closed in nicely on a track that's sort of not favoring speed right now from the looks of it. So big run from Speedy Solution as well.
I'm a big Rogue 1 fan too, so I should have just gone with a hunch play right there. We're back in New York for race 7. This is Dirty Bird, 5-1, James Ferraro off the claim.
Yeah, and I think taking a drop in class here, actually dropping back in with State Breds today. Middle type of horse.
Happy Sophia, trained by Ray Handel.
Hot Dylan Davis riding today, and coming off of it's kind of a disappointing race last time out, finishing 8th.
Overtime, Olivia, very quick, and the blinkers come off today.
Yeah, going to show some speed, and with the blinkers off, maybe going to try and rate a little bit here because just hasn't been able to hang around late.
Queendom, Carlos Martin, trainee, who does have a win here at Aqueduct.
Yeah, and Billy, that you know, she does like Aqueduct, but I don't know about her chances today.
Charlie Baker trains the 5, Awesome Debate. Big comeback race off the bench here at Aqueduct. Just missed by 3/4 of a length, 2-1 on the board. And here's Any Day Is Her Day, who was a winner last start.
Yeah, and a big win from her. It had been a long time between wins for her. See if she can put two back together.
Waylon Josie, we will skip, who's 8-1 on the board. Here's our favorite. This is Peggy Sue for Linda Rice.
And she's one that likes to come from off the pace. It showed speed at times, but with that outside draw, I think that she's going to just sit in stock today.
And here is the 7. This is Waylon Josie, daughter of Central Banker, who is a 2-time winner.
Yeah, and she's had 14 races in her life and 2 wins here at Aqueduct.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more 3 Technique for Bill Parcells' August Dawn Farm. And No Parole, undefeated the Louisiana bred for Tom Amos, trying to stay perfect in the Rebel. Next.
Undefeated Grade 1 winner Mastery won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now, his much-anticipated first crop are bringing top dollar in the sales ring. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Round on her inside. Race. And a 1/4 of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Master horse racing with the power of daily racing form. DRF has helped players win at the races for 125 years. Now the information you trust is better than ever. Get exclusive late-breaking news from our reporters at tracks across the country. Position yourself to win by adding Buyer speed figures and the new DRF formulator to your handicapping arsenal. Go to drf.com/NYRA today. Use coupon code DRF2020 to get a free formulator card and start winning.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, presented by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. We've got these fillies and mares heading to the starting gate here, and the horse that stood out to me, just really made a huge case for herself in the paddock as well as on the racetrack, is the 8, Peggy Sue. She looks good on paper, but she really won me over with her appearance. Love the way she galloped over the gate, loosened up beautifully. Very, very relaxed, and I like the outside draw for her. Like Gary mentioned, I think it gives her the opportunity to just kind of stalk from the outside, an unencumbered trip, so I really like the impression she made on the racetrack. The 5, Awesome Debate, also looked really good on the track. It's filly on the smaller side, but really warmed up nicely. She's your favorite right now, has speed, ran really well in her one race here at Aqueduct, and I expect she's the one they're probably all going to have to run down. The 3-horse Overtime Olivia, they've taken the blinkers off of this filly and watching the way they warmed her up. I think they're going to try to get her to relax a little bit more, maybe not be quite as involved, because it seems like she's been getting battles and giving it up, but I really like the way she looked in the flesh in the paddock. The 1-horse Dirty Bird, a lot of kidney sweat, a lot of sweat underneath the saddle. It's a nice day here, but it's not that warm where she should have had that kind of sweat. I do like her rider, young Luis Cardenas, is only his 10th win of his career earlier on the card, and a kid that has shown a lot of promise, Greg. So kind of an interesting race, but the 8-horse, she won me over in the paddock.
Mig, thanks. And Peggy Sue, 9-5 on the board. Mig was talking about the 1 as well, Dirty Bird, returning in just 6 days off a victory. That is a quick comeback. James Ferraro Barn off the claim. We send it out to New York. Johnny and Brial, the call, the 7th from Aqueduct.
2 left to load. Number 7, Waylon Josie, and the 8, Peggy Sue. And Peggy Sue is now moving into the gate. Field of 8, going 6 furlongs. And they're off. From the inside, it is Happy Sophia with Awesome Debate. Awesome Debate on the outside, and Happy Sophia down at the rail. The front two have opened up 2.5 lengths. Queendom is next in third, and on the outside is Peggy Sue, who's racing in fourth. Any Day is Her Day, next in fifth. Waylon Josie to her outside. Overtime Olivia is down at the fence, and Dirty Bird, who was off a step slow, trails the field in eighth. The first quarter in 23 3/5 seconds. Big long shot, Happy Sophia on top here by 1.25 lengths. Awesome Debate giving chase in second. Peggy Sue is on the outside in third. And then it's Queendom in those yellow blinkers at the rail in fourth. Waylon Josie now makes her move on the outside. Waylon Josie with a quick brush there to get into contention. Then Any Day is Her Day. Dirty Bird has moved to the extreme outside. The half in 48 seconds. And they're in the stretch. Awesome Debate's on the outside, and Happy Sophia. Awesome Debate is the new leader. Happy Sophia back running in second. Waylon Josie is third. Then Queendom and Dirty Bird. Awesome Debate has opened up here, and it will be Awesome Debate. To win going away, 1 by 3. Waylon Josie did get second. Happy Sophia finished third, and Queendom checked in fourth.
Awesome Debate tracking in second and then takes over in the stretch. Had raced primarily at Finger Lakes. Most of her career she returned as a 4-year-old at Aqueduct, ran a big comeback race, and now she's back in the winner's circle.
Yeah, she got a beautiful trip right there, just stalking on the outside, had plenty left for the stretch drive, drawn away at the end. Big, powerful win today.
So Charlie Baker, we say his name a lot on this show. He does a tremendous job on the New York circuit with the win. The 7 at 9-1 checks in second there, and that was Waylon Josie. But Awesome Debate, 4 wins now from 8 career starts. All 3 prior wins had come upstate at Finger Lakes. That was an impressive performance from this daughter of Honorable Dylan, who gets the win and does so pretty convincingly in the 7th. The feature race at Aqueduct coming up next. 5-7-2 finishes. We take another look here in the stretch, and at this point, putting away the pace setter and takes off.
Yeah, and there was never any doubt once they entered the stretch here. Got a 4-length lead. There as they cross the finish line, widening at the end. 7-horse comes on to finish second.
Yeah, so Waylon Josie, Happy Sophia second and third, but this race all about Awesome Debate. The public all over it. Goes off the favorite at post time. Was able to be forwardly placed last time out. Was today, but not on the lead. Sat right behind that pace setter, the 2, Happy Sophia, and then pulls away for victory. Correction next at Aqueduct. That's their feature, but we're going to go to Oakland right now. And we saw Tayshawn win race 6. Here in the 7th, it is an allowance optional claiming race, 6 furlong sprint coming up. And Silver Ride currently favored for Robertino Diodoro, barn winning it better than 30%.
Yeah, Robertino's had a good day today. Won 2 earlier on, should be 3. Actually had a rough trip. I believe it was a 6th race today. Possibly should have got up, but Silver Ride taking a drop in class today. Raced in the King Cotton last time out, and I think I agree with that 9-5 price right now.
Coming out of an incredibly tough race. That was the King Cotton with Share the Upside and the extremely talented Whitmore. Silver Ride wound up 3rd in that race, so this is a big drop down in class. As we check in live with Nancy Holthus.
Thanks so much, Greg. Well, favoritism in the paddock was kind of leaning between Silver Ride and Curate, who today debuts for the barn of trainer John Sadler off a $50,000 claim. Both Silver Ride and Curate are running for that $62,500 tag. And by the way, guys, you know that Oakland is one of the leading tracks in the country in regards to claim. We have just hit the $5 million mark. One of these horses could maybe be going to to a new barn today. But Silver Ride comes off a third in the King Cotton. Runner-up Whitmore was victorious in the Hot Springs last week. He has been very solid for the Diodoro barn since joining it off a $62,500 claim last summer at Churchill. In the money, 5 of 6. Very solid over and off track as well. In the money all 3 starts. He likes it here at Oakland as well. He won a very solid allowance optional 80 over the mud. Also Curate debuting for the barn of John Sadler. He has been in some of the top barns in the country. Asmussen, Cox, Peter Miller. So the fact that he is 2 for 2 here at Oakland, he won last out by more than 5. You have to look back on his form all the way to a little over a year ago when he won a 3rd level allowance and came from a little bit off the pace. He chased some very nice fractions. He'll try to extend that to 3 local wins in just as many starts, but I'm going to have to give the top nod to Silver Ride for the barn of Robertino Diodoro or Lena Mojica, having a very good meet. And Silver Ride, you know what they say, bet the grays in the mud. Greg?
Nancy, thanks. We're taking a look, though, at Curate down on the inside, and we know how good a trainer is. I've spent a lot of time here in Southern California, John Sadler. Curate has speed, has the rail. With the scratch of the 3, some of the other maybe cheap speed of the race was taken out. So how difficult do you think it's going to be to deny Curate with his post position and his advantage with how quick he is?
Well, I think it is an advantage, him being down on the inside with the speed that he does have. I think De La Cruz can kick him away from there. And the way this racetrack is playing right now, I think it's an advantage that he's down on the inside and has that speed. He's definitely got more speed than the 9-horse Silver Ride, in my opinion. That's who I would like to be riding if I had to choose in this race right now. It would be Curate, just because of tactical advantage.
And he's 2 for 2 as well. Talking about the one Curate at Oakland Park, 5.5 length score last start. Obviously a little deeper waters today. You also have a horse like the 7 Impact Player, Steve Asmussen. His first start at Oakland came last out. He was pretty dominant, winning against much cheaper 40 non-winners of 3 lifetime claiming. But he's got some pace as well, and he's shown that he might be on the upside right now.
Yeah, he is on the upside, but his numbers, as far as buyers go, anybody out there that use the buyer speed figures, they don't even compare with Curate's last couple of races. He's going to have to step it up about 8 points to be able to get the money here. He did have a big confidence builder last time. He can put some pressure on Curate, but I think Curate has the class going in his favor right now. The other thing about Curate, he doesn't mind a wet, sloppy racetrack either. He's raced on the wet twice, one with 1 win and 1 second on there, so he doesn't mind this type of racetrack.
We saw the 4 go by as well. That's Ruler of the Nile, neat horse, 5-year-old. Hasn't really won against this type of competition before, but he is 9 for 18 in his career.
Yeah, he's solid. He's made, let's see, $250,000, just over $250,000. And Joe Talamo having a phenomenal meet, first meet at Oakland Park. He's got 23 or 24 wins going for him right now, and the leading stakes winning rider.
Take advantage of that $20 free play. Get signed up with Naira Bets. Use that code REBEL20 to take advantage. Vic Stauffer with the call. Here's race 7 from Oakland Park.
They're at the post. They're off. Curate and Kauai broke well. Silver Ride and K-Choice are close up. Impact Players in the mix as well. So is Better Charge It in the center. Ruler of the Nile and Fast Break and Cash. And the trailer is Nifty. A scramble on for the front. Better Charge It, K-Choice, Impact Player, and Curate at the rail. These 4 across the track. Silver Ride in a good spot in 5th and 3 from the front. Kauai and Ruler of the Nile just inside of him. Then it's 2 lengths to Fast Breaking Cash. And Nifty is at the back of the pack. Now 3 across the track back around the far turn, and Curate rides the rail to a short lead. Curate and Impact Player with better charge at 3 deep. 2 lengths to K Choice. Silver Ride is within 3 of the lead and on the move. Then comes Ruler of the Nile. Nifty's out of last place, and a fast break in cash. Curate rides that rail. He leads Impact Player just by a half length. Silver Ride's on the move. Here comes Silver Ride, K Choice, and Nifty also with chances. Silver Ride and K Choice are the 2 that emerge now. K Choice and Silver Ride. Nifty in the center of the racetrack, and K Choice has the lead. Nifty trying to run him down. Impact Player at the rail. K Choice, Impact Player, Nifty, K Choice in front. K Choice won by a length. Very close for second between Nifty and Impact Player. Silver Ride was 4th.
Well, Irad Ortiz Jr., he's going to work a lot this afternoon for Mike Maker, but today on this race, it was Luis Saez teaming up with the Maker barn and delivering the victory to the son of Flatter.
Got a perfect trip with the speed duel going on up front. There were 3 of them going battling on the lead with Curate, Impact Player, set it up for the 10-horse K Choice. Luis Saez taking full advantage of the situation.
And I believe Nifty just getting up, out-dueling Impact Player for second. That 8-horse to the outside, very close. But what a performance from K Choice. And it is, I believe, 10-8-7 in the end.
Yeah, Luis Quinones and the speed duel did its job on Curate. Silver Ride, Nifty pick up the pieces.
Yeah, big long shot, better charge it. Certainly hampered Curate's chances early on in this race. Prices from this race when we come back. Stakes action next. The Essex Handicap from Oakland, and still the Rebel to come when we return.
Very excited to see them come on out and performing and look just like him, act like him, sleep and eat like Run Happy. They're pretty nice horses. Right now they're fast and working, and it's exciting to see when they go out running.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America's Best Racing is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit NairaBets.com.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. We're at Turfway Park, and they're loading up for the rush away at 1 mile and a 16th. This is for 3-year-olds. Of course, our Derby prep for 3-year-olds at Turfway. That is coming up later on this afternoon. That is the Jeff Ruby, which will award points, 20 points to the winner of that race.
20 points. This race, it was used for a Derby prep back in the day, along with what is now the Jeff Ruby Stakes, but no points involved in this today. It's 1 mile and a 16th, the 16th of a mile shorter than what the Jeff Ruby is.
Well, that's Something Natural favored on the board right now. As I say that, favoritism moves to the 4. Uncork the Bottle, who started his career 3 consecutive victories. He'll break from post 4. 1-2 sprinting and then 1 on turf. Jim McNerney, the call, the rush away from Turfway Park.
And they are racing. Crypto Cash stumbled at the start. It's a quick beginning for Vanzi in the rush away. Uncorked the bottle away in second. Something Natural is off the speed from third. Amen Corner works his way toward the inside rail from fourth. Memorable from the Hydro is fifth and in about the 3 path. Then 6 links for the back, 2 Blanket of Roses. And after the stumble at the start, Crypto Kiss is last. Crypto Cash must be about 12 links off that speed. And the pace setter is Vanzi. Vanzi and Kendrick Caramouche shows them by the 6 furlong marker in front by just about a length. Uncorked the bottle will stalk from second. Up on the outside, Something Natural third. Amen Corner to the inside from fourth. And there's pace of 4 back to Memorable. Still 6 or 7 back to Blanket of Roses and Crypto Cash. We'll still have to pass them all about 13 lengths top to bottom. They continue to run up the backstretch. They passed the 4.5 furlong marker. The first quarter was 24 seconds flat. The half mile 47 and 4. And with a half mile to go, Vanzi has the target on the back, has uncorked the bottle to the outside in second. Something Natural's in the clear and stalking those leaders from third. Amen Corner losing touch with the trio from fourth. Here comes Memorable, moves a closer fifth. Still 6 or 7 back to Blanket of Roses, and Crypto Cash starts to tighten up as they have just outside a quarter mile to go. It's been all Vanzi for Daniel Ryan, shows the way. Whip comes out on Uncorked the bottle. Something Natural 3 path from third. As they turn on down in the rush away, it's Vanzi who's made every yard, 3/4 11 and 2, and with a furlong to go, Vanzi still there. Something Natural trying to tighten the screws to the outside, but outside the 16th pole, Vanzi has ran the field off their feet, and Vanzi is going to go coast to coast and take the 33rd edition of the rush away in front running style. Looks like Blanket of Roses just nipped Something Natural on the square for the second placing, and from last, Crypto Cash was fourth, and the running time for the coast-to-coast winner, Vanzi, was 1:43 and 4.
Vanzi with the win, and this horse has some talent. He has faced some very good ones. Independence Hall in his debut. Mischievous Alex, who we saw win his 3rd in a row in the Gotham last week. Pulled up in the Withers. We could see him again on the Triple Crown Trail.
Yeah, we sure could. It was a nice race today. He loves to be on the lead. He loves the synthetic. He's 2 for 2. He won up at Woodbine last year, early December last year. So, horse that loves this, loves the speed, and that track is loving speed horses today.
Yeah, no question. That has been the theme today. 2, 3, Blanket of Roses, and the 7, Something Natural. Complete that trifecta. Meanwhile, back at Aqueduct, awesome debate. Charlie Baker had this filly ready to roll in her 2nd start of her 4-year-old campaign.
Yeah, impressive. She was 3 to 2, deserved to be. 5'10", 320, 280 there. 574 Super, 10 cent, $218.
So 5-7-2 finish in the 7th at Aqueduct as we go back to Oakland. And K-Choice winning the 7th, Luis Saez, Mike Maker. And that is the 5th win in 14 career starts. First win, 3rd time out at Oakland.
Yeah, and Luis Saez, Mike Maker hooking up a lot today. Hadn't won since November of last year at Churchill Downs. That was on the slop. Sloppy today. Loves the wet weather.
Feature race coming up next at Aqueduct. It is the Correction, $100,000 purse, fillies and mares 4 and up, and that is kept true. She could be the one to beat for Leah Giramati, coming off a big win, but looking for her first ever win against Open Company. Could it come today in the Correction? We will find out when we come back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include Cutting Humor, winner of the Grade 3 Sunland Park Derby, Grade 2 winner Sharp Samurai, international star Shamal Nibras, graded stakes performers Uncapped and Sweet Sammy B, and Bal Harbor, runner-up in the Grade 1 Woodward Stakes. His 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $310,000. First, Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
This is a Run Happy colt out of Pledge Pen that we brought here to the OBS March sale. We felt he was a star physical, very good training horse, and although he's on the big side, he's got a lot of speed, and we feel like he'll be an early, precocious type of horse.
Just a real straightforward, nice filly. Her precociousness to be quick early, being sound, good-minded, checks all the boxes. We're just hoping the market receives her well.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Live action continues today with 2 Kentucky Derby prep races, and we have more action on Sunday with Aqueduct and Oakland live on Fox Sports 2 from 3 to 6:30 Eastern Time. We hope you join us for tomorrow's action as well as we bring you live racing all weekend long here on Fox Sports 2. The correction coming up next from Aqueduct, and of course our big one of 2 Kentucky Derby preps later today, the Grade 2 Rebel. From Hot Springs, Arkansas, in the undefeated Nadal, back in action for Bob Baffert, looking to remain perfect in just the 3rd start of his career. He will make an equipment change, blinkers off. Another undefeated horse in the race is No Parole, a Louisiana bred, facing Open Company for trainer Tom Amos. Here's Tom Amos on his undefeated Son of Violence, stepping up big time in Company.
No Parole in the Rebel is kind of the wild card in the deck. He's the joker in the deck of cards because he could have some serious upside or he may not be able to do the task. And I think one of the things with No Parole is he's a very good sprinter on a national scale. There's no question about that. And he has won going 2 turns, and he did in a stake at Delta Downs. But what is he going to do against this caliber competition? Because obviously this is a big step up for No Parole. So everyone is seeking those answers, and quite frankly, so am I. I see a lot of speed in the race, of which No Parole is one of those horses, and I think it's going to have a lot to do with who can carry that speed the distance of a mile and 16.
While he's been brilliantly fast, he has decimated his competition, but that has been, again, Louisiana-bred competition. Now he's facing a field full of Kentucky-breds, Gary, some of the best competition in the country.
Yeah, but Tom is a numbers guy. He checks the numbers, and if he didn't believe this horse could compete, I don't think he would have run him. The thing I liked about his race in the Prince Stakes last time out was that he's a horse that you heard him say that he's got sprinter speed, but he was able to rate him. He was able to slow the pace down, so he's very tractable. If the jock needs to slow him down, if he does make the lead, he'll be able to control the lead by slowing him down. He's not like a just need the lead, speed, runoff type horse.
Well, he did handle his 2-turn test at Delta Downs. Can he do it against Open Company? In the Grade 2 Rebel, he'll break from post 5 later on this afternoon. Post break for the correction back at Aqueduct. Here is Slimy for David Canizzo.
And this one's made $223,000. Tried Stakes Company before in the past and hasn't fared well.
Canizzo with that big upset earlier on Skipping on Orchard at 31-1. Here's Bridlewood Cat, morning line favorite.
And 2 for 4 career, lightly raced, but can run.
He looks ready to go today. The 3C Sparkle, 1 for 20 lifetime.
Yeah, big price, 20-1, and as you said, 1 for 20, 1 for 11 last year.
Kept true. She's been running huge numbers. She's done it all against State-bred Company, though.
Yeah, and she's made $300,000 thereabouts, $298,000. Going to be a speed factor with Dylan Davis aboard.
Pieti Bianchi, second start of her career. She was grade 1 placed at Del Mar.
Yeah, for Carlos Martin, was a nice winner off the layoff last time out. Second time off the layoff, a good number for Carlos Martin.
Nisha, interesting 6-year-old mare. She is 11 for 18 lifetime and 3 for 5 at Aqueduct.
Yeah, taking a jump up in class today, but got a speed factor as well.
And we backtrack to the 6. Huge long shot. I'm not shy, I'll buy for Eric Reed. Maybe we'll see some speed. I don't know about a whole lot else.
Yeah, the nice thing about it, got a win here at Aqueduct with only 2 starts here, and horses for courses, so we'll see what happens.
She is 4 for 9 lifetime. Let's check in again with Richard Migliori for more here on The Correction.
Thanks, Greg. And watching these fillies and mares warm up, you always try to glean different interests or intentions from the riders, if you will. Certainly the 2-horse Bridlewood Cat got the big aggressive warm-up from Junior Alvarado. That tells me they want to use her speed from the inside. I thought the 1-horse Slimy, though, made the nicest impression. I love the way she looked in the paddock. I love the way she looked on the racetrack. She's certainly carrying good flesh. Her coat couldn't be better. We saw her trainer, David Canizzo, win with a big long shot earlier in the day, and that horse looked awfully good on the racetrack. So I think Slimy is the truest closer in the race, and I think she's going to be the one they're all going to have to worry about in the stretch. Like I said, the 2 Bridlewood Cat got that big aggressive warm-up. A little bit on the light side for me, a little bit thinner than I'd like to see. Now, that might not be out of character for her, but it certainly didn't catch my eye in a positive way. The 4-horse Kept True, she looks really good. She's a little bit on edge. She is going to be a pace factor. She wears a Houghton bit that gives jockey Dylan Davis a little bit more control. She has a tendency to want to get out a little bit on the turns, drift to the outside, and in the stretch, she'll tend to drift to the right as well. And the 5 Pieti Bianchi looks good off a big effort for Carlos Martin, carrying good weight out of that race, and it doesn't look like it affected her in a negative way. And she's another one that I think in a race that appears to have a lot of speed on paper will be coming from off the pace. But I'm going to go with the 1-horse, the unfortunately named Slimy, Greg.
Yeah, that is an unfortunate name right there. We'll see if she can stalk and pounce and get a win here. She's been first or second in 8 of her 17 starts, talking about the 1 Slimy.
Yeah, I think he's got a good point as far as she's going to come from off the pace. There's a lot of pace in the race. If they get hooked up, the thing is about the 4-horse Kept True, she was in a battle last time, and she just kind of grinds it out. It never did look like she was going to win as easy as she did by 3 lengths, but she just kept grinding the last 16th of a mile and eventually eased away. Doesn't look like she's going to win that easy, but she had a good trip, laying second. I think she's going to get a good trip today. She'll get some pressure from what I call a little bit of cheap speed, and the 7-horse in here, Nisha, she's got some speed, so she's kind of at a disadvantage. Is Kept True with Nisha just to her outside with Raylu Gutierrez aboard on there. He's going to be aggressive and use that one. So it's one thing that Dylan Davis is going to have to be concerned about.
Well, there's another look at Slimy, whose price continues to come down. She's 5-1 now, and it looks like she is hoping for a speed duel up front and will sit off the pace and try and make a late run. But I thought for Pieti Bianchi, her comeback race, she hadn't raced in a year. She comes back. She wins off that year layoff off the bench for Carlos Martin. Another one who could sit and stalk. If she moves forward off that last effort, she could be very dangerous.
Yeah, timing is just perfect. She ran on January 26th. It was a big effort. A lot of times you worry about after a big performance off the layoff that it's going to knock them out a little bit. But Carlos Martin giving her plenty of time to rebound off of the big effort. So I think she's going to run big again today, and looking forward to seeing her run. She's actually my pick in the race today.
She was multiple grade 1 placed back as a 2-year-old. They had high expectations for her. Anytime you put a filly into a grade 1 in the second start of their career, you obviously think they have talent. And she showed that early on in her career, but she has moved from Doug O'Neill to Todd Pletcher, now with Carlos Martin as a 5-year-old. But it looks like there could still be some room for improvement in her running line. She's 5-2 on the board, the 5, Pieti Bianchi. Of course, our show brought to you by Champion Sprinter Run Happy. Bridlewood Cat, the 2, the favorite, moving in line. That last out effort, she'd been very, very good each of her last 2 starts, both wins. Took a backward move last start, beaten by Pieti Bianchi. Was it perhaps the off track? Listed as good that day? We'll find out. Here's the correction. John Imbrial with the call.
And Nisha will be the last one to go into the starting gate. Field of 7 fillies and mares going 6 furlongs. Nisha is in. We are set for the start. And they're off. Bridlewood Cat steady just a bit right after the start and trails the field. I'm Not Shy, I'll Buy, and Sea Sparkle, and the two of them are heads apart for the early lead. They've got 2 lengths on Nisha, who's on the outside of Kept True, then a length and a half to Piedi Bianchi. A break of 6 back to Bridlewood Cat, and the trailer is Slimy. In the opening quarter was running 22 and 4/5 seconds. Big long shots running 1-2. Sea Sparkle, I'm Not Shy, I'll Buy. But now Kept True has moved up a spot, and her move is followed by Nisha. Piedi Bianchi is in 5th, but just 3 lengths off the lead. Now Bridlewood Cat starts to get going, but still with a lot to do, and a 1/4 mile to the finish. Sea Sparkle and Kept True. Kept True on the outside. Sea Sparkle continues to battle on towards the rail. Then it's Nisha in 3rd, followed by Piedi Bianchi, who's out in the middle of the track. Bridlewood Cat and Slimy. Kept True has the lead. Here's Piedi Bianchi driving up. Nisha moves down to the inside. Slimy is kicking in late. And on the outside, Bridlewood Cat. The 4 of them come to the line together. It may have been Piedi Bianchi who got her gray nose in front right at the finish.
I'm with John Imbriel. I think it was Piedi Bianchi, and if it was her, she's now 2 for 2 off a year's layoff in her 5-year-old campaign.
She won it. She got her head down right on the wire. No question about it. And great training job there by Piedi Bianchi, finding her best stride this winter. 2 wins back-to-back. Head bobber right here. And an unlucky Bridlewood Cat stumbled at the start there. Runs on. She's in a photo for 4th. Looks like she winds up 4th there at the end. Big gallop out from Bridlewood Cat. So keep an eye out on lightly raced filly for Jonathan Thomas next time out.
Blanket finish, but it's Piedi Bianchi. Keep your eyes on the 2 in here. Bridlewood Cat, the morning line favorite, stumbles out of the gate.
And Junior Alvarado doing a great job there. She didn't stumble the first jump. It was 2 strides away from there, and that's what gets a rider the most is they've already picked up a little bit of speed, and when they bobble like that, 2nd or 3rd step out, it's tough to hold their head up, and Junior Alvarado doing a great job just staying on her back, and then she runs on strong to finish 4th.
No, and she's usually very quick. Without her in the picture early, you had 2 huge long shots on the front end. And in the end, Piedi Bianchi takes advantage. Very tight finish in the correction, but now 2 for 2. 1:13 and 2 final time.
Yeah, Kept True, the 4-horse. She looked like she was home and dry inside of the 8th pole, and here comes the crowd, and Piedi Bianchi finishing up strong there. The last 16th of a mile, great race, the correction.
All right, Vargas aboard for the win for Carlos Martin. That was a 5-year-old mare. Piedi Bianchi picks up the 2nd stakes win of her career.
Slimy with a huge run to be 2nd. Good call there by the MiG.
We go back to Oakland, the SX Handicap. Mile and a 16th. This is a very fun race coming up. You could make a case for just about everybody. And here's the board reflects. Bankit right now favored, coming off a near miss in the Razorback. And the 5th season beat by Pioneer Spirit that day. Gets a rematch today. Let's check in for more with Nancy Holthus.
Thanks so much, Greg. Well, I'm specifically going to try to make a case between 2 specific runners in Pioneer Spirit and Bankit. Now, Bankit comes off a very nice runner-up finish in that Grade 3 Razorback, a race that Steve Asmussen has had to settle for runner-up in the last 2 years. And looking at my notes from the Daily Racing Form, Santana has lost 4 win photos in stakes on Bankit, and he is certainly going to try to not let that happen today. It's going to be interesting as Pioneer Spirit does look like the controlling speed. Robertino says he loves the outside post. I think it's going to give David Cohen some more options, and he's certainly going to benefit from the off track, as in 7 starts over an off-go. He has been victorious in 4 of those. So I do like that off track, and Robertino sees him on the lead or certainly right close to it. He was the highest claim ever recorded at Churchill Downs back in early November, $150,000. He has won 2 stakes since then, the Tenacious at Fairgrounds over the Slop and the 5th Season, which was the tougher of those 2 divisions. He comes off that 4th in the Razorback, going to try to rebound, but like I said, I do think that the off track here is definitely going to flatter Pioneer Spirit. Greg?
Nancy, thanks. It should. He's 4 for 7 lifetime on an off track, and he was actually out at Turf Paradise. Robertino Diodoro happened to notice this horse was in for a claim, got a group together that night and said, let's put this partnership together, claim this horse, and immediately after he did, back-to-back victories.
Yeah, and you know, his last race in the Razorback, it wasn't just the racetrack, I don't believe, that got him beat. I think he does benefit, obviously, from the sloppy track. He loves the slop. But it doesn't say it in the trouble line here, but he got plowed pretty good from another horse going into the first turn and sent him out in the middle of the racetrack. So he did have trouble. He was only beaten 4 lengths that day, 4.5 lengths, but he gets a favorable racetrack today for what he likes. And, yeah, he's been a money maker, sharp claim there that day by Robertino. What's he done? He's come back and won a $75,000 race, a $100,000 race, the 5th season at Oakland Park on a good racetrack. But he loves it when it's sloppy like it is today.
$781,000 in career earnings for the 7 Pioneer Spirit. We have a horse down on the inside, too, who normally, if it was a sunny day, fast track, probably you wouldn't look twice at. But Guess Sweet is a perfect 3 for 3 on an off track, and in fact, beat the likes of Snapper Sinclair and Night Ops here at Oakland, 2 back on a muddy track. So he gets the kind of conditions he likes again today, and he's gone from 30-1, and there he is, the 1 horse, to 9-1.
Yeah, he's a great long shot bet. He beat Snapper St. Clair in the 5th season that day, along with Pioneer Spirit. So he's a horse that definitely moves up on the sloppy racetracks. And like you said, 3 for 3, and he's 1 for 2 here on this track.
And Steve Asmussen has 3 runners in this race he'll send out. He has the 3 Laughing Fox, the 4 Bankit, who was the morning line favorite in here, and then Snapper Sinclair. And they all seem like they have a chance. There's also a horse in this race who you've been aboard before, in Bravazzo.
Yeah, he ran its worst race of his life when I rode him. I rode him in the Louisiana Derby. I believe that was in 2018. It was 2018. He went off the favorite that day. It was a nightmare trip. He got his tongue over the bit with me, meaning the tongue comes back, gets over that metal part, and it gives a rider no control. Tried to bolt with me around the first turn. I was out in the middle of the racetrack, and he still only got beat about 6 lengths that day. I asked Wayne if he would put a tongue tie on him, holding that tongue down. He put the tongue tie on and took Stevens off. That's not what I asked for, but that's what happened, and I don't blame him because it was his worst race of his life. He's been consistent.
There he is, by the way, the 5.
Yeah, and he's 5 years old now, and he's a warrior, and didn't run a bad race in the Razorback last time out, but does not like the wet track.
No, he was actually second in the Preakness to Justify back in 2018. Had a great end to his 3-year-old campaign when he was 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, just missed in the Grade 1 Clark, but he has had a lot of time off since then, over $2 million in career earnings. It is the SX Handicap from Oakland. Vic Stauffer with the call here on Fox Sports 2.
They're at the post. They're off. Perfect start. Pioneer Spirit and a sent along Snapper Sinclair. Bravazzo is also asked for speed. Then comes Night Ops and Guest Suite with Bankit, and the early trailer is Laughing Fox. Snapper Sinclair going to clear off for Joel Rosario. He beats Pioneer Spirit to the clubhouse turn, and Snapper Sinclair is pumped up and leads by a length and a half. Pioneer Spirit is second by 2 lengths. Bravazzo and Night Ops together third and fourth. Bankit is fifth. He's got about 4 lengths to make up. Inside of him is Guest Suite. Laughing Fox is last as they turn into the backstretch in the 72nd running of the Essex Handicap. And here's Pioneer Spirit to turn up the pressure on Snapper Sinclair. Snapper Sinclair only leads by a neck. Pioneer Spirit is alongside in second. It's a length and 3/4 to Bravazzo in third with Night Ops at the rail Guest Suite. Bankit has moved up. He's only 2.5 off the lead, trying to get through between horses. And Laughing Fox is the trailer. Many chances leaving the backstretch. Snapper Sinclair, a still neck in front of Pioneer Spirit in second. Bravazzo has moved into third. Just inside of him, it's Night Ops. Laughing Fox just ran by Bankit. Bankit has dropped back to last at the far turn. He can still win, but he'll have to re-rally as they turn into the top of the stretch, and Pioneer Spirit has taken the lead. Snapper Sinclair is still right there. Night Ops off the rail, and he comes after the front runners, Laughing Fox and Bravazzo. Bankit has 2.5 to make up. He's still got a chance. Many chances inside the final furlong. Snapper Sinclair. Here comes Night Ops between horses to the outside end. Pioneer Spirit, and Night Ops has taken the lead. Snapper Sinclair battles at the rail. Night Ops wins the Essex. Night Ops beats Snapper Sinclair. Pioneer Spirit third. Bravazzo fourth.
Night Ops, we saw him traveling very nicely, and here wins for Brad Cox. Joe Talamo, when he found room, he opened up.
Yeah, and he was looking for room here. There's a little bit of bumping goes on here coming off the turn. Night Ops comes out slightly into the 5-horse Bravazzo, who loomed up like he did in the Razorback last time out, and then doesn't go on with it. But Joe Talamo, Brad Cox, they've hooked up since the beginning of the meet. As I mentioned earlier, Joe, leading stakes rider there at Oakland Park throughout this meet right now, and racks up another one with a big ride, big run for Night Ops.
Tough beat for Snapper Sinclair, and that's usually not his MO, being that far in front. He tried to do it gate to wire today, has in the past, winds up second. Night Ops, the win for Brad Cox. Snapper Sinclair second. Pioneer Spirit winds up third in the Essex Handicap. The Azeri next with our Kentucky Oaks winner, Serengeti Empress, back in action.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
He's always been a beautiful moving horse. Got a great attitude, real simple to be around, and and he's done everything we've asked of him. He walks like he's on wheels. He takes that with him to the racetrack, and when you breeze him, he doesn't move his legs quicker. He just extends his stride. I mean, he looks like a horse that's got speed, but he might carry it a little bit too, and that's the thing about him. He's an athlete.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Smiling Tiger's championship sire performance continues. Each of his first 3 crops has produced a Horse of the Year, including California Horse of the Year Spiced Perfection and 2019 champion 2-year-old male El Tigre Terrible. 14 6-figure earners, including 7 with single-season earnings surpassing $100,000 in 2019. California's #1 second crop sire in 2018 and now #1 third crop sire of 2019. Smiling Tiger, standing at Harris Farms. Visit SmilingTigerStallion.com for more information. It pays to be Cal-bred.
We are back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. We're going to have a very special guest in just a little bit. Hall of Famer Mike Smith will join us right now. It is the Kentucky Cup Classic, 1 1/8 miles at Turfway Park. We have 2 former winners of what was known as the Jeff Ruby Stakes who are going to be squaring off in this race. Some Like It Hot Brown won this race last year and Blended Citizen a couple of years back. Blended Citizen at 4-1 on the board, but Some Like It Hot Brown 6-5 favorite, Gary.
3 for 3 here at Turfway Park. Loves it. He's a warrior. He's made almost $500,000 coming off of a big win allowance race here at Turfway Park, February 21st. So coming back a little bit quick, but he's a tactical horse. He loves to be up close, but like I said, the way this track's playing today as well, it's really favoring speed. He should be forwardly placed, and I'd be surprised if Some Like It Hot Brown gets beat today.
We talked about the duo of Mike Maker, Irad Ortiz Jr., busy this afternoon, and they will team up with Some Like It Hot Brown. Even money favorite on the board, breaking from post 10 here. And this Kentucky Cup Classic, as Gary mentioned, perfect 3 for 3 at Turfway Park, including that big win last start in that allowance race. As you see, nonetheless, move in line. Nonetheless, the 3, the defending champion in this race, also won the Prairie Bayou here at Turfway. 9-time winner over $500,000. Most recently, a winner of the Forgo, a couple back sprinting here at Turfway. Now stretching back out to 1 1/8. It's the Kentucky Cup Classic. And Some Like It Hot Brown, the 10, the one to beat, as we send it out to Jim McNerney.
Lowe's Journey is in. They're at the post. And they are off in the 20th running of the Twin Spires Kentucky Cup Classic. And Lanier wastes no time, hard hustled from that high draw to try to cross and clear. Flying Scotsman away in second. Dragon Bay is third, so under the line for the first time. Lanier has the lead, shows the way as they head to the first turn by just about 2 lengths. Dragon Bay is to the inside, 3 deep comes Flying Scotsman. To the outside is Moon Over Montana. Spun out wide is both Pikachu and Royal Mesa. Saving all the ground is the 2019 Ruby winner, Some Like It Hot Brown. Then a link further back as they continue to run around the turn, it is nonetheless. Down on the inside, Space Mountain is next. The 2018 Ruby winner, Blended Citizen, is about 10 or 11 lengths off the pace as they straighten up for the backstretch journey. Then a margin of 5 back to Signal Man, and Lowe's Journey at the back of the pack. Up the backside they go, just outside the 4.5 furlong marker. And the leader, Long Shot Lanier, has bumped the lead to just about 3 lengths. Dragon Bay races to the inside of Moon Over Montana. Down along the inside, Some Like It Hot Brown is covered up by both Flying Scotsman and Royal Mesa. Advancing up the inside is Space Mountain. As they enter the far turn, it's been all linear so far. The lead is 4 lengths. Up on the outside, Royal Mesa is second. Now, cut loose to the outside. Here comes Nonetheless, who's moving well on the far turn run. Some Like It Hot Brown is trying to catch the hole, but he's going to have to wait and go around. And Blended Citizen is underway from the backfield as they race around the turn. And Lanier trying to pull the upset. Lanier arrives with a 2-length lead, but here comes Nonetheless, set down for the drive. And Nonetheless, undefeated on the poly, is coming after pace setter. And Nonetheless, by the furlong marker, opening up with each and every stride. Late on the scene, here comes Some Like It Hot Brown with a 16th to go. Nonetheless, the son to Kenny Ride has gone clear. And Nonetheless, now a perfect 4 for 4 on the poly, takes the Twin Spires Kentucky Cup Classic in 147 and wins by about 4 in the end. Late on the scene was Signal Man from far back, including in that photo was Some Like It Hot Brown, but nonetheless, an open length winner.
Did he say 147?
I think he did.
He shatters the track record for 1 1/8. Nonetheless, the defending champ does it again in the Kentucky Cup Classic.
And the first horse we've really seen come from well off the pace today, Some Like It Hot Brown. He was bottled up all the way down on the inside, saving ground. Finally got out in the stretch. Looks like he's going to be a photo for second place, but nonetheless, victorious last year. Huge run from him today, and this track is lightning fast. Second track record of the day, if we heard correctly.
And we did, yeah, they show the time right there. 147, previous track record at 1 1/8, 148-1. That is moving for Nonetheless. Back at Oakland in the SX Handicap Night Ops for trainer Brad Cox. He's now won 3 of his last 4 starts.
How did they let Cox and Talamo, with the way they've been teaming up, pay $15? Huge win from Night Ops.
Seems to be pretty high to dismiss to let that one go at that kind of price. Snapper Sinclair running big, trying to do it all the way in the front end, winds up second. The Azeri is next with Serengeti Empress, Kentucky Oaks winner back in action, and then it is the Rebel, on the road to the Kentucky Derby. Joining us, though, in studio, Hall of Famer and Triple Crown winning jockey Mike Smith. Great to see you, Mike. We'd love to see it under different conditions, obviously, what's happening right now in this sport, but we're lucky that this sport is one of the few that's still going right now. We're going without fans. So what's it been like for you walking into the racetrack today, seeing the empty stands, competing without anyone really here?
Well, it's kind of a eerie, kind of sad feeling, to be honest with you. As we all know, I mean, sports are meant to be played in front of the people who really enjoy the sport, the fans, and so that part of it's going to be a little awkward, a little weird. If anything, though, hard not to love is a bit quirky, and she's got one eye, you know, and she gets a bit of anxiety, especially when she hears noises. So if anything, it should benefit her. But other than that, it's not good to see a beautiful place like this empty.
Mike, they're empty clear across the country right now. I spoke with fellow rider yesterday, Johnny Velasquez, asked him what kind of protocols have been put in at Gulfstream Park and a few other. I know you guys had a phone conference yesterday talking about that. Johnny said that every rider that goes into the jocks room, they have to go to the first aid, get their temperature taken. They've taken other precautions in the jockeys' quarters as well. What have they done here at Santa Anita?
Pretty much the same thing, other than today, you know, they kept us out of the sauna and the steam room. I was talking to you earlier. That's why I was at the gym a little earlier, getting my weight off over there instead of here in the jocks room. So they're going to disinfect everything these next few days, and again, you have to go to first aid and make sure you're not coughing or have any sort of symptoms. But then other than that, you know, it's pretty much regular, as well as there is no people in the grandstand as well.
How is it? I mean, you guys compete in the jockeys room. You're all right next to each other. It's kind of different than any other sport. Have you noticed a difference in how everyone's interacting, or everyone trying to keep your space within each other and keep some social distancing from each other, as they've been talking about?
There's not a lot of high-fiving and shaking hands, you know, going on. But still, I mean, we're pretty much about as normal as you could possibly be. But yeah, you try to do all the right things that certainly help to prevent it anyway.
Mike, Greg asked me at the top of the show what I thought I've never ridden under these conditions without racing fans out there and with what's going on right now with the virus. But Greg asked me, what is your competitive nature? And I said, oh, they're competitive. I mean, y'all putting on a show for all the United States. We're really the only show in town right now in sports, but unfortunately, I like my basketball, I like my hockey, I like all of that stuff. But what about you and your competitive spirit going out here?
As you well know, Gary, I mean, once you get on, I mean, you focus so much and you're so zoned in. We probably wouldn't notice it near as much unless you're way back or you're way in front. So hopefully I do notice it way in front. But other than that, I mean, it's going to be pretty much as normal as can be. You know, like I said, once you're in the gate, you focus so much, you don't really pay a whole lot of attention to the crowd. I've actually never heard the crowd at the Derby other than it's just some sort of loud roaring noise, but you don't hear people screaming your name or hear anything like that. It's just a lot louder, but I won't have no problem focusing.
It could, in a way, help some of these horses. I mean, we saw a horse win a Derby prep for Bob Baffert last week who conventional wisdom thought he shied away from the noise of the crowd in Authentic, and without a crowd here, horses are not going to have to deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's nervous horses, first-time starters that aren't used to a big crowd in the stands. That Authentic, that's probably what he heard that day whenever he did break his maiden, was the crowd screaming. But you know, it's not going to bother the horses any. It's just, you know, anytime you play any sort of sports, you want to see the fans. They kind of pump you up just a little bit more, and it's fun to have them around. I know it's certainly a whole lot funner to ride when the grandstand's full, when you can see them from one end to the other, than it is, you know, when it's even a short crowd. So I can't even imagine what it's going to be like with no crowd.
What about in terms of coming here in the morning, working horses, things like that? Is it just life as usual?
Pretty much life as usual. Here lately, we've had a lot of rain, so we hadn't really had the main track open. So a lot of the riders hadn't had to even come out here in the last few days. But yeah, everything's pretty much normal.
We're all kind of getting used to this new normal that we're dealing with, and hopefully it's temporary. Hopefully it's short term, and we turn the corner in this coronavirus. But everyone kind of trying to get used to living a little bit differently. And washing hands frequently, staying away from not being in crowds. The California state governor banned crowds of more than 250 people. So as a result of that, this racetrack and all major racetracks across the country, no fans allowed. So we're going to be like this for the foreseeable future. We could even see a change with the Triple Crown. We're waiting to hear about that as well.
That's what I heard myself this morning. So hopefully this will get under control and we'll be back to normal soon.
We saw you in action, of course, in the richest race in the world with the mare.
That was a
Midnight Bisou. What's next for her?
Very proud of her. Right now, there's a couple of spots they could probably go to. It would be Oakland Park, the Apple Blossom being one of them, and then there's I think it's called the La Trian there at La Trian there at Churchill. So those are probably the two spots they're looking at. Wherever she goes, I just hope I'm part of it.
All right. Well, Mike Smith, I would shake your hand, but I'm going to
no
follow protocol. Thank you for stepping on set. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more America's Day at the Races in a moment.
Eclipse champion Blame. Ranked among the top stallions of his crop, Blame has sired over 50 stakes horses. His recent top performers include Kentucky Derby hopefuls Shotsky, winner of the Grade 2 Remsen Stakes, and rising star Nadal, a $700,000 juvenile purchase and winner of the Grade 2 San Vicente. Plus recent Grade 1 performers Mississippi, Alandra, and Natalma Stakes winner Abscond. Outstanding value, outstanding results. Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America's Best Racing is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Coming on strong.
Minute to stardom. On top, coming down to the final 16th, opening up a 2-length lead.
My love for you.
Wild About Star, shining big here in Berry 1.
Oh, why did I wrong?
Testing, 1, 2. The Star Guitar filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing, 1, 2.
Feel my love for you. Coming on strong.
Welcome to America's Day at the Races. I'm Greg Wolf. We're living in an unprecedented time as we deal with the impact and spread of the coronavirus. While most of the sports world has either canceled or suspended play, horse racing and most major tracks across the country will continue to compete with no fan access. Our show will take place in the studios at Santa Anita Park, and the scene here is what you will see at tracks all across the country. Empty stands, eerily quiet, with precautions taken to limit interaction between jockeys and trainers. We thank you for spending part of your Saturday afternoon with us. We have a great show ahead with 2 Kentucky Derby prep races. We're looking forward to it. We hope you are as well. Next, the road to the Kentucky Derby continues, where 2-time Triple Crown winning trainer Bob Baffert sends out the undefeated Nadal, the favorite in the Rebel Stakes from Oakland. Silver Prospector already owns a prep win over one of the top contenders for the Kentucky Derby. A win today could vault him to the head of the class in the 3-year-old division and bring his Hall of Fame trainer his first ever Derby victory, perhaps later in the first Saturday in May. Welcome to the show, everyone. Again, thank you for spending part of your Saturday afternoon with us as we all live through this very strange time that most of us probably thought we would never have to experience as we all deal with the coronavirus, its impact and its outbreak here in our country and worldwide. As a result of that, we hope we could bring you a little bit of joy and a little bit of just relief getting away from hearing about it 24/7, as we are basically one of the very few sports left competing in all the world. I'm here with Gary Stevens, Hall of Fame writer, and we know how competitive you guys are, everyone in this sport. And what is it like walking through the grandstand here at Santa Anita all across the country? We're seeing empty stands, no fans allowed access. Does it change the competition at all?
You know, I've never competed under these circumstances. And walking into to Santa Anita today, I was stopped by security. They didn't notice me from who I was from a long distance off, and they said, "Oh, gee, Stevens, we wondered who it was walking in here. We were about ready to have a heart attack." But even for myself to walk in, it was strange today. As I said, I've never been in this situation before. I don't know how I would handle it, but they're competitive. You know, these jocks are flying all over the world right now. The United States for the 3-year-old prep races. You know, we've got a big race coming on here in a little bit, the Rebel Stakes, and of course we've got the Dubai World Cup coming up here in a couple of weeks, and no fans are going to be to one of the biggest racing events in the world for that, but there are going to be some American riders that will be flying over there, so they're exposed, and then come back into an environment that some of these locker rooms are very tight, but they're keeping them very secure right now and keeping them as clean as they can at all times.
Policies being enacted to stem the spread of this coronavirus on the local, state, national level, and as a result of that, you're seeing no fans allowed into racetracks all across the country. Still waiting to hear what is going to happen with the Kentucky Derby and the Triple Crown. We're hearing possibly next week we'll have a decision on what happens with that first Saturday in May in the Run for the Roses at Churchill Downs. We'll, of course, keep you posted on that. We're back on Fox Sports 2 on Sunday afternoon. We're on Fox Sports 1 next week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so we hope you join us for all of that action as we go back to New York. The nightcap from Aqueduct is coming up. Quick look at the field for this maiden special weight as we check in with Richard Migliori.
Nice full field, Greg, and a lot of different directions you can go. Watching them warm up, the 5-horse Lady for Bruce Brown really caught my eye. She showed very high speed in her debut, and certainly I think she can improve a lot off of that effort. And it is eerie, guys. We've got the grandstand behind me, and it's just, empty, although I will say it's a great atmosphere down by the rail where the grooms and the handlers of the horses are rooting their chargers home. These people have so much passion for what they do and love their horses so much. It is kind of fun to be amongst them while they get to the 8th pole and everybody's in it with a chance to win. The 8-horse also, to me, I'm incommunicado. Couple of bad races, one bad race on the dirt, I should say, but boy, she looked terrific. Mike Maselli's done a great job and winning at a high percentage, and she really looked great galloping off. First-time starter, the 9 Mopolka from Carlos Martin, who just won the stake with Petey Bianchi. By Uncle Mo, big leggy filly, really nice look to her. Talked with Carlos, thinks she's going to get better with more distance, and she's certainly built that way. So she's one I'm going to keep an eye on as we go forward, guys. And then you got your favorite on the outside, Honey Money. But I was really taken with the 5 late T. By Liam's Map, we got Basin in for Steve Asmussen coming up in the Rebel. By Liam's Map, I was impressed with this filly when I saw her down at the sale last year at the Fasig-Tipton 2-year-old training sale at Timonium. So kind of an interesting race, a lot of directions you can go. And we'll see how it shakes out, guys, here in the nightcap at Aqueduct.
Mig, thanks. That's a look at a first-time starter. The 9 there, Mopolka, is a daughter of Uncle Mo. I thought this Linda Rice runner on the outside, the 11, getting overbet just because it is Linda Rice.
I don't think she is getting overbet in my book. I mean, I wouldn't bet on her at that price, but she was a $240,000 OBS April sale of last year, and she made the lead last time coming into the stretch. She faded late, but Linda hits at 26% with her second-time maiden starters.
Well, Dancing Kiki, the 6, big chance to move forward. This will be start number 7 for her. We go to John Imbrial, the nightcap from Aqueduct, race 9 here on Fox Sports 2.
Field of 11 in the 9th at 6 furlongs. Honey Money moves in, and we are just about set for the start of the finale. And they're off. Poor start for number 4, Steal My Heart, and she trails the field. Honey Money was away well, along with Charlotte Webley. Charlotte Webley to the front. Honey Money runs in second. Late Tea is next in third. I Am Incommunicado is next in fourth as Ramon moves up from fifth. Down at the rail is the Gray. Smokin' Hot Kiss, who's next in sixth. Then on the outside, it's Darling's Cure in seventh, followed by Calidad in eighth. After that slow start, Steal My Heart has advanced up into ninth. Then it's Mo Polka in 10th. And the trailer is Dancing Kiki. The quarter went in 23-2. Long shot Charlotte Webley with a narrow lead over the favorite Honey Money. So they're 1-2 as they come for the top of the stretch with Ramon next in third. And on the outside, Calidad, half mile in 48-1. And they're in the stretch. And Honey Money has taken over the lead. Honey Money quickly draws clear. Charlotte Webley trying to hold second. On the outside is a Calidad. Honey Money is pouring it on here in the stretch, and it is graduation day for Honey Money. She won by a half dozen lengths. Calidad was a clear second. Dancing Kiki came from way out of it to get third. Charlotte Webley faded to fourth.
On a day where long shots were prevailing through a portion of the card here at Aqueduct, the big favorite, the 11 Honey Money, draws away decisively through the stretch after getting the perfect trip, stalking from the outside under a very confident Jose Lascano for trainer Linda Rice. And when he asked for more, she certainly found it, finished strong to take down the last here at Aqueduct. As the sun has kind of settled in behind the grandstand, it's gotten a little bit colder, and we've got that wind whipping off Jamaica Bay, Greg, so I'm going to someplace to get a little bit warm.
All right, Mig, stay warm. Gary, as I thought. No, nice call, Honey Money. I didn't think this one was going to run this big. You were all over Honey Money.
Hey, sometimes you got to just take your 3-2 and grin and bear it for sure. I wouldn't have bet against her today, but I probably wouldn't bet at 3-2 just because maidens, and like Mig said, long shots all day long, not for Honey Money.
And how about that? I mean, you create value, too, if you happen to play the exacta 21-1 shot. First-time starter Calidad, daughter of Quality Road, running second in there, 11-3-6 finish. This is what we still have to come. Our race schedule brought to you by America's Best Racing. We still have races 9 through 11 at Oakland. It is sloppy there now. It had been muddy earlier. Now it is listed as sloppy. The Rebel Stakes on the road to the Kentucky Derby with the undefeated Nadal. Our feature race still ahead, and that is our ABR race of the week at Turfway. The Jeff Ruby Stakes on the road to the Kentucky Derby, contested on that synthetic poly track. Still to come. 2 Derby preps. We have the Kentucky Oaks winner, Serengeti Empress, back in action as well. You can get signed up, started, play along. New Naira Bets members get a $20 free play on any race you choose today or multiple races, using that promo code REBEL20. Visit NairaBets.com, enter that code REBEL20 at sign up, and $20 into your account in just minutes to bet any race you choose. Go to NairaBets.com/Rebel20 for promotion details. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. Stakes action heating up. The hopeful winner, Basin, back in action in the Rebel, making his 3-year-old debut for Steve Asmussen when we come back.
This is a Run Happy Colt out of Pledge Pen that we brought here to the OBS March sale. We felt he was a star physical, very good training horse, and although he's on the big side, he's got a lot of speed, and we feel like he'll be an early, precocious type of horse.
Just a real straightforward, nice filly. Her precociousness, to be quick early, being sound, good-minded, checks all the boxes. We're just hoping the market receives her well.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Go from Railbird to Winner Circle. With My Racehorse, you have access to top horses and trainers, backside tours, exclusive ownership experiences, and fast payouts to your online account. With shares starting as little as $100, the Winner Circle is waiting for you. Go to MyRacehorse.com or download the My Racehorse app today to join the thousands who have already started their journey as a racehorse owner.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
We're back on America's Day at the Races. Our show is brought to you in part by Run Happy. Never lost in his career while sprinting. One of those victories coming with Gary Stevens on board in the Malibu in Southern California at Santa Anita. Now standing at Claiborne Farm out of legendary stall. #1 race, medication-free his entire career. Grade 2 Azeri is up next at Oakland Park, and the Kentucky Oaks winner from last year, Serengeti Empress. Back in action for the second start of her 4-year-old campaign. She is the current favorite, trained by Tom Amos. We check in with Nancy Holthus.
Thanks so much. Well, Serengeti Empress is looking for her first win since scoring that 13-1 upset in the Kentucky Oaks last year. And the Azeri, I'm just going to call it the Houston Ladies Classic Part 2, because a lot of those do come over to compete in today's running. Interestingly, I'm going to go with Lady Apple on top. She was victorious in that race, and she beat not one but 2 Grade 1 winners. I think she was a really good 3-year-old. I think she's going to be an even better 4-year-old. She's a good mover, light on her feet, and she does like an off track. She is also a perfect 5 for 5 at the distance. 4 of those resulted in wins. She is also 3 for 3 in the win column here at Oakland Park. I love the way that she is trained into this race. She is simply hoping to add to her already prestigious record. We'll see if what goes down is victorious for Lady Apple and Steve Asmussen. They are headed to the gate for the 34th running of the Grade 2 Azeri. We could potentially see the Apple Blossom winner in this field. Guys?
All right, Nancy, thank you. So, yeah, it is a rematch, really, Houston Ladies Classic Part 2, as Nancy said. Serengeti Empress, though, Tom Amos said, with Flavian Pratt in that race, look, they didn't take full advantage of the incredible speed that she has today. They intend to do that.
Well, I don't blame them for doing that today. The thing you got to look at is both Lady Apple, Serengeti Empress, they'd both come off of layoffs. Lady Apple had come off of a longer layoff than Serengeti Empress. She improved. She ran the best numbers she's ever run in her career. So who improved more from 3 to 4-year-old year? We'll see. Serengeti Empress, she's never raced on a track like this. Lady Apple's won on a track like this.
Kentucky Oaks winner from last year, Serengeti Empress, back in action from post 5. It's the Grade 2 Azeri. Here's Vic Stauffer.
They're off. Emma has unseated Richard Aramia. She jumped straight in the air, and he couldn't keep his balance on Emma. Serengeti Empress makes an easy lead at the clubhouse turn from Street Bend and Lady Apple. Rawway and My Lady Curlin are next, and Saracosa is the trailer. And Richard Aramia is still motionless at the 16th pole. They will, of course, get him out of there or maybe have to pull these horses up. We're going to check it as they turn into the backstretch in the Azeri, and Serengeti Empress is the uncontested leader. Aramia is up and will be out of the way as Serengeti Getty Empress, the Kentucky Oaks winner, is in front by 4 lengths from Street Band and Lady Apple. It's another 5 back to Rahway and My Lady Curlin, and Saracosa is the trailer as they run into the far turn. In the 34th, Azeri and Serengeti Empress is dominating here. 3 furlongs from the wire, she leads by 5 lengths from Street Band and Lady Apple. It's another 6 or 7 back to My Lady Curlin. She's pretty much going up and down, passed by Saracosa. Rahway is the trailer, and Serengeti Empress and Joe Talamo are in complete charge at the top of the stretch. Street Band and Sophie Doyle begin to run after her just a bit. Now My Lady Curlin is in stride, and here's My Lady Curlin. She's about to move into 3rd, but still 6 lengths behind Serengeti Empress, who comes to mid-stretch, gets a left-handed reminder from Joe Talamo and another, and she has just run them off their feet in the Azeri. She is still 6 in front. My Lady Curlin, Street Band, and Saracosa will battle for second as Serengeti Empress goes coast to coast to win the Azeri. Serengeti Empress won by 5, could have been more. My Lady Curlin second, Saracosa third, Street Band finished 4th.
The Kentucky Oaks winner from last year, ultra impressive in here. Obviously, we're hoping that Richard Aramia okay, and that did change the complexion of this race, perhaps because Emma was the other speed of the race.
She was the other speed, but she doesn't have this filly's kind of brilliant speed or class, I don't think. Hopefully Richard is all right. We'll try and find out some information. But as far as the race went and change in complexion, when they were going into the far turn, there's no idea, I would think, that Joe Talamo knew that that was a riderless horse that was coming up on his hip. And I saw him look over and take a peek just before they went into the turn. And thankfully, Emma stayed out of everybody's way. She stayed out in the middle of the racetrack, and Joe was able to take advantage of that easy lead, sprinted away around the turn, and never gave anybody else a chance.
If you're the jockey, Joe Talamo, in this situation, you have a loose horse like that without a rider, and it does engage, what's your job?
Sometimes there's nothing you can do. If you're on a young horse or something, had that 7 horse came up right on his hip, close to him, she probably would have just started taking him. Serengeti Empress would have. There wouldn't have been anything he could do in that case. But thankfully, Emma stayed out in the middle of the racetrack. The closer the horses get to you, the more they'll engage. But she stayed out there, and Joe was able to wait until inside of the 3/8 pole to push the button and explode coming off of the turn.
Another graded stakes win for Serengeti Empress, and she used her speed fully to her advantage. You were mentioning to me she broke so quick, so fast, blew by this field. Joe Talamo and the filly didn't even realize what happened behind them.
No, I mean, he was 3 lengths in front before we knew it. He came away from there. Joe was very focused. The filly was very focused. They were intent on making the lead no matter what. And with Emma rearing up at the start, by the time Aramia came off, there's no way Joe could have known that there was a loose horse at that point. Unless, I don't know if they've got the PA system going today, even though there's no crowd there. But if it is going, he may have, with no crowd there, he would have heard the announcer say that there's a riderless horse. If that's the case, then Joe did know. But it's my guess, which I shouldn't be guessing, that he didn't know that there was a loose horse in the race.
Serengeti Empress, that was impressive. 6 wins now for 14 starts. 4th graded stakes win of her career, owned by Joel Politti. And up next, it's the road to the Kentucky Derby. 50 points to the winner on the line. The undefeated Nadal for Bob Baffert, making just the 3rd start of his career, and he'll make an equipment change for start number 3.
Yeah, blinkers coming off today, flashed all that speed the last time out. Not so quick away from the gate the first 2 jumps, but he went 21 and change, 44 flat. That's flying for going 7 furlongs. He was engaged the entire trip. Looked like he was going to be passed right here by Ginobili, a proven horse. This was only Nadal's 2nd start of his career, and he weathered the storm. They came home slow, but he had an excuse for coming home slow. That's why the blinkers are coming off today, to try and get him relaxed a little bit. He can't go 22-44 today and stick around.
And Ginobili actually headed him at one point in that race, and Nadal fought back and got the win, stretching out to 7 furlongs. Now he's going to stretch out to a mile and a 16th and 2 turns in start number 3. The son of blame for Bob Baffert, trying to win the Rebel for a 7th time in his career.
What about this? Wayne Lucas telling former assistant Randy Bradshaw this morning that Nadal is the best 3-year-old Kentucky Derby prospect he's seen in 20 years. Do you think he's trying to get him in his barn like the old days?
He just might be. I heard him say he thought Wayne Lucas, that is, thought Bob Baffert is going to sweep this year's Triple Crown, and not necessarily with one horse. It could be 3 different horses.
You know what? I rode so many years for Wayne, and he made so many crazy statements to me that came true. The coach isn't wrong that often. So if the coach says it, well, we'll find out this afternoon.
Well, and that's how loaded Bob Baffert is this year. He has so many talented Derby prospects. This is a look at Serengeti Empress, though. Not a lot happening in that winner's circle with no crowds and limited connections able to be on hand, but there is trainer Tom Amos able to get a picture taken with a victory in the Grade 2 Azeri and his Kentucky Oaks winner. She has been special for Tom and that entire group that works with him with the Tom Amos barn. That was the biggest win of his career last year in the Oaks.
A game changer for a jockey or a trainer to win a classic. We all get to enjoy it with him, and he did a great job having her ready for today, second off the layoff. Joe Talamo winning another stakes race here at the Oakland Park meet. So, Tom, congratulations, buddy.
Speaking of the Oaks, this is another qualifying race on the road to the Kentucky Oaks. The Bourbonnette Oaks, 20 points to the winner of this race to get into the starting gate that first Friday in May. Laura's Light, she looks awfully tough. Coming in from Southern California, she is quick. She's won sprinting, she's won going long, and she's even won on synthetic in her debut at Golden Gate.
Yeah, she's only raced 4 times, but this filly, she stands out on paper. She's got speed if they want to use it. We've seen all afternoon at Turfway, speed, 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 until we watched the Kentucky Turf Cup Classic. But that might have been a special horse, very special horse. He's undefeated, I believe, at Turfway Park in the previous race. But Laura's Light, she's a standout to me.
Well, public feels the same way. 8-5 on the board on Laura's Light for Peter Miller. She is a daughter of Constitution. And at 5.5 furlongs, she did not make the lead last start. That was a very swift pace early, but 2 prior mile races before that, she has been on the lead. And I would expect to see her very forwardly placed today. There is some speed inside here in this race. Some long shots. The 2 going to be forwardly placed, and certainly the scratch of the 1 took out some of the speed in this group. But elsewhere, you look at some of the other contenders in this race. There's one of them, the 7 Impeccable Style at 4-1 in here for Kenny McPeak. Put her in the Rachel Alexandra for her 3-year-old debut, and now she'll try synthetic for the first time.
Yeah, but the Uncle Mo's, that's her daddy. The Uncle Mo's, they'll run on about anything. I'd look for them to put her into the race a little more than she was last time out. She was a little further off of a slow pace in the Rachel Alexandra, the Grade 2. She showed speed in breaking her maiden at Churchill Downs. So I would look for Corey Lannery to really put her into the race early on and not let Laura's Light get too far in front of her, keep her in contention.
Impeccable Style, there she is, 4-1 with Corey Lannery. So again, synthetic debut coming up, but Laura's Light taking all the action in this race. The 5 getting some play as well. That's past the plate. She's a daughter of Temple City, who was a Grade 3 winner on synthetic, actually Del Mar.
Yeah, no, this filly, she's a deep closer. Got Florent Giroux aboard. Florent, he can be aggressive when he needs to be or wants to be. Yeah, but all of her best races have come on turf past the plate. So we'll see what Florent's tactics are going to be here.
And you do have, and also eligible getting into this race, the scratch of the 1 allows a Wicked Wildcat, the 13, to draw into the race. This is a huge step up, and odds reflected at 72-1, coming off a maiden claiming win.
Yeah, the bettors are actually making this a 4-horse race, and I don't really see it any different than that, handicapping it. It does look like a 4-horse race. The 3, the 4, the 5, the 7, and the 9. So actually 5 horses. That's who they're playing right now. And huge upset if anybody else wins this race.
There's that smile you probably know most who follow this game of Irad Ortiz Jr. He's teaming up here again with Mike Maker. All 3 victories for this daughter of Painter have come on turf, as she will try synthetic as well for the first time in her career. She's 6-1 on the board.
Yeah, one of the things I mentioned earlier today is these horses that come from racing on the turf, they usually adapt extremely well to the synthetic, especially here at Turfway Park. There's very little kickback with this synthetic. You can normally close ground, keep horse covered up. If they don't like kickback, they don't get it on this racetrack, the same as they don't get it on turf. We saw Animal Kingdom several years back come from winning what is now the Jeff Ruby and go on and win the Kentucky Derby. And he had never raced on dirt prior to the Kentucky Derby, and he got the job done.
Well, again, get signed up, started, take advantage of playing with Naira Bets. You get a $20 free play when you use that promo REBEL20. Go to NairaBets.com, enter that code REBEL20, use that $20 in any or as many races as you choose. And 4 to 5, I know for a lot of people that don't like to bet favorites, they might say, well, I'll pass here, but this 4 to 5 looks like she deserves to be the heavy favorite here.
Yeah, absolutely she does. If her form holds up, she's lightly raced. 3 out of 4 with the second place. She's won 3 out of her 4 races, 1 second place, and she's improved with every one of her races. So if she continues on the pattern right now that she's on, she's already a grade 3 winner, then she won't get beat today, Greg.
On the back of your screen, she just left the picture, Oxen Power, the 4 for Paulo Lobo. Actually won the Kentucky Oaks in the Alabama years back with Farda Amiga, and he has an undefeated filly daughter of Will Take Charge here.
Yeah, and they were both here at Turfway Park. And Paulo Lobo, he has been known to win with some long shots. She's getting played right now, so wouldn't be a huge surprise if she happened to be the one that upsets if your favorite doesn't show up today.
So Laura's Light, heavy favorite in the Bourbonnette Oaks with 20 points going to the winner to qualify for the first Friday in May in the Kentucky Oaks. Jim McNerney with the call. Bourbonnette Oaks from Turfway here on Fox Sports 2.
In the line, in goes Secretly Wicked. Impeccable Style from the McPeak barn going in at 4.5 to 1 second choice. And Secretly Wicked's locked up. Here comes a Wicked Wildcat. They are at the post. And now Secretly Wicked has unseated her jockey. And good job by the gate crew to catch Ajari Williams in the air to help him out to avoid any injury. Now the jockey off the 13.
So we have a rider off. I believe that is on Secretly Wicked. And I'm not sure if it doesn't look like they're backing them out yet.
They are backing them out,
They
Greg.
are.
I'm pretty sure the rider was bent over, kind of holding his back. I don't know if he's injured, exactly what's going on, but it does appear that they've backed a couple of them off. I see some horses behind the starting gate. Number 13 is riderless, a Wicked Wildcat, the outside horse. But there was 2 other horses circling back behind the gate with their riders aboard. Number 10 there. So they're backing a few of them out right now.
So it's
they're taking them all out of the starting gate.
So it's Sunny Leone who was on the 13, and that's a horse who drew in from the also eligible list here, at least 99 to 1 on the board. So they backed everyone out. And when a situation like this happens, you as a jockey, what's your role to try and keep your horse calm?
Well, you just try and sit still as much as you can. When a horse is throwing a little bit of a ruckus in the starting gate, it gets loud in there, kicking. And number 12 has been scratched. We've just been told secretly wicked. But back to what we do as riders, just try and stay as calm as we can. These horses are on edge, ready to break. We've warmed them up to get their attention. They're very focused. They hear that noise, and a lot of them think that the gate has opened. Everybody else is behaving themselves right now, but as you saw there, they take them out one at a time. A lot of times the jockeys will actually step off of the horse in the starting gate, and they know that it's not going to be a go if there's a rider off of their back, so they'll relax for you. And just sit tight and do what you're seeing here. Circle, keep them as calm as you can, let them catch their breath, kind of reboot.
No, not what you want to see. The 12 going back to the barn. I think we're still waiting to see a Wicked Wildcat get a rider back aboard in Sunny Leon. In the meantime, they circle and get this all sorted out as Laura Light remains your favorite at 4-5. But there it is, secretly wicked late scratch. Definitely the result of a delay. I don't know from a standpoint of the running of this race if it changes things a whole lot, although it would have been fun to see her. A huge long shot who actually had just run second sprinting in a stake here at Turfway.
Yeah, I mean, she had laid close to some pretty quick fractions. Might have been involved early on, but still was a big price. And we're not going to see that now. They're headed back up to the gate right now to be reloaded. It looks like everybody's behaving themselves very well. Like I said, you just try and keep them calm, and when it's time, they start loading them up. Try and get their focus back on a good break. But they're all these 3-year-old fillies behaving themselves very well.
Well, luckily, there was no chain reaction, and now they're moving back in. Queen of God steps in the 3 for Mike Maker with Irad Ortiz Jr. 4-5 favorite. Laura's Light, the 9 filly. Odds-on favorite here in the Bourbonnette Oaks. We will go again. Jim McNerney with the call here from Turfway Park.
Swartz will load up 44-1 on the starter of Honor Code. Baby Carrots. Now just 2 remain here as we await Baby Carrots to go forward. She's in, and a Wicked Wildcat once again will complete the line. They're at the post. And they're off in the 38th edition of the Maxim Crane Works Bourbonnette Oaks. All way to good order. It was Laura's Light who broke well to the outside, but she'll be pressed today as Swanage comes on through, and these two hook up early in the first turn. So Swanage, the daughter of English Channel, will dictate terms. Laura's Light, the daughter of Constitution, in hand racing in second. Impeccable Style is third. Baby Carrots to the outside, fourth. Queen of Gold to the inside in fifth. And Queen of God is about 5 off the pace. Then comes KBG, who settles long in sixth as they turn up the backside. Fashion Code is next, covered up by a Wicked Wildcat. Still 2 back to pass the plate, 3 to Oxum Power, and at the back of the pack, Los Ramblas the quarter, 23 and 4. It's Swanage, the long shot, shows the way. Laura's Light keen to go on, tugging hard against Albin. He's trying to get her to relax and rate there in second. Still 2 back to Impeccable Style, and a perfect spot from third. Queen of God advancing to the inside of Baby Carrots as they got to half in 47 and 3. Into the far turn. There goes Laura's Light, takes over the lead from Swanage. Impeccable Style still tracking from third. She's on the move now. Up on the extreme outside now, gaining ground. Here comes Baby Carrots as they race around the turn. It's Laura's Light, but here comes Impeccable Style with a 3-wide bid. That's all for Swanage from the backfield. Here comes Queen of God, and Pass the Plate is underway, as is Los Rambos as they turn on down for the money. It's Laura's Light still in front. Impeccable Style took a crack at her to the outside as Laura's Light wandering to the inside. Here comes Queen of God with a big, bold bid down the center, and Queen of God, the daughter of Painter, forging to the front. Pass the Plate is right on her back. She's altering course down to the line. Queen of God by 3/4 of a length. Pass the Plate shifted ground in deep stretch. She came to the inside to be second. A trio of horses with a photo for the Shoto in 137 and 3.
Queen of God gets the win. She was very erratic in the stretch.
Yeah, she ducked away towards the end there, about inside the 16th pole from the left-handed stick of Irad Ortiz. I don't think there was any interference. Came by pretty quickly. You see him reaching, hit her one-time left-hander. She comes out. He was well clear of the 5 when that happened right there, but first time on the synthetic racetrack, and she seemed to enjoy it today for trainer Mike Maker.
Well, Laura's Light appeared to be in good position coming out of the turn. I'm not even sure if she got 4th in this race.
No excuse for her at all. I mean, she was sitting, stalking. She was taking a nice hold of Alvin Jimenez, and it looked like he was loaded coming into the stretch, and she stopped quick.
So Queen of God, 20 points. To move on to the Kentucky Oaks, we have our Kentucky Derby prep next. Silver Prospector, Southwest winner, Kentucky Jockey Club winner. Trying to add another victory to his resume for Steve Asmussen. We'll be back with the Rebel next.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than America'sBestRacing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America's Best Racing is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Grade 1 winner and track record setter Lee. Like their sire, his first crop runners have excelled on both dirt and turf, including stakes winner and graded stakes performer Muskoka Gold and 2-year-old stakes winning filly Vast, with juveniles selling over $400,000 and yearlings bringing up to $650,000. The sky is the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Master horse racing with the power of daily racing form. DRF has helped players win at the races for 125 years. Now the information you trust is better than ever. Get exclusive late-breaking news from our reporters at tracks across the country. Position yourself to win by adding Buyer speed figures and the new DRF formulator to your handicapping arsenal. Go to drf.com/NYRA today. Use coupon code DRF2020 to get a free formulator card and start winning.
All of them have pretty good minds. We're all pretty happy with their minds and how they react to things and how smart they are and pick up what we want them to do very well and very quickly. And, you know, most of them have very good temperaments like he did, and, you know, most of them are showing some speed, so we're pretty happy with the way they all are.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
There are certain racing venues you can walk into and just sense that big day atmosphere. Oakland is among them.
Hot Springs is horse racing.
I like Silver Prospector. Number 2.
In the Southwest, he won a really big race. He was really happy. He was traveling really well.
Silver Prospector catches the eye at the rail. He moves up within 2 of the front, and he's about to move into second. Here's Silver Prospector after Wells Bayou.
The horse, you could see him. He wasn't pulling. He was waiting for the cue from Ricardo Santana.
Now Silver Prospector has found light, and here he comes. Silver Prospector slingshots to the lead, and now he's 2 in front of Wells Bayou, who can do nothing about it. Answer In is next and shoplifted, but it's Silver Prospector over Wells Bayou.
There goes that team again. Ricardo Santana Jr., Steve Asmussen teaming up with Silver Prospector at 9-2.
Points being very important. We're all aimed at the Derby. I feel very good about the race that he ran here with having the Rebel and the Arkansas Derby left on the calendar, and with him having a win at Churchill Downs on the dirt. You know, we feel really good about him.
Silver Prospector, winner of the Kentucky Jockey Club, the Southwest here at Oakland. For Steve Asmussen, one of 3 prospects the Asmussen barn has in this race, currently 5-1 on the board. Nadal favored though right now, undefeated for trainer Bob Baffert. It is our ABR race of the week, the Grade 2 Rebel. with 50 points to the winner to get into the starting gate for the Derby. And here is Nadal, the son of Blaine.
Yeah, all the hype here. First time stretching out today. Blinkers coming off for Bob Baffert.
One of 3 for the Asmussen barn. Here's Accession.
This one coming in off a disappointing effort in the Risen Star last time out and in the Lecomte as well. I'm not quite sure if he's going to be as classy as this bunch.
Grade 1 winner for Steve Asmussen as a 2-year-old in the hopeful Basin's 3-year-old debut.
Is he good enough to come off of this long a layoff? Hasn't been seen September 2nd of last year.
Silver Prospector beat Tiz the Law in the Kentucky Jockey Club.
And he's already had a win here at Oakland. He won the prep for this, the Southwest. Greg, this is where I'd put some of my money if that $20 free bet that you get.
No parole. He is undefeated, 3 for 3 for trainer Tom Amos against Louisiana breds.
And Tom said he's the joker of the bunch. Is he going to respond to this big hike in class?
3 Technique for Jeremiah Engard, owned by Bill Parcells' August Dawn Farm.
He actually didn't run bad last time out in the mud in the Smarty Jones, finishing second to Gold Street that day. He has been favored in all of his career outs.
Rider change on Coach Baugh for Phil Bowers, David Cohen, who's coming off a maiden win.
A big price right now, 50 to 1. That win came at Fairgrounds on a muddy sealed track, the same as he's getting today.
And American Theorem, he won first time out at Del Mar, and then he was second behind 8 rings for Bob Baffert in his second start in a Grade 1.
Would be pretty interesting because he is by American Pharaoh, who won this race as well as the Triple Crown.
Again, it is our America's Best Racing race of the week, and it is a big one, a highly competitive Kentucky Derby prep race. And I don't think any of us are surprised to see Nadal for Bob Baffert at 4 to 5 on the board. Baffert, he has won this race 6 times before, including with Triple Crown winner American Pharaoh back in 2015, as we check in with Nancy Holthus.
Thanks so much, guys. I am very happy to report that Richard Aramia returned to the room under his own power. He did take off for the 11th and final race on the Saturday card, but subsequently his mount was scratched. So he is okay. We'll probably have a further update for you on tomorrow's program, but safe to say that Richard Aramia was removed under his own power. But looking on to the Rebel, a very solid field yet to remain. Steve Asmussen, kind of surprisingly, has been blanked in the 2 previous stakes. Jockey Joe Talamo kind of having a much better day. Really good to see that Jockey Joe having a really good meet also. But I'm going to see if Ricardo Santana can kind of return to his winning ways aboard Silver Prospector. He has been very confident in this horse's ability. He did win over the slop in that Grade 2 Kentucky Jockey Club at Churchill Downs and was victorious in his last start in the Grade 3 Southwest. He is also the only 3-time winner in this particular group. A lot of people, though, talking about Nadal coming in from the barn of Bob Baffert. He does stretch out after racing 7 furlongs in that Grade 2 San Vicente. He is also taking the blinkers off that he has worn in those 2 previous starts. He did ship into D. Wayne Lucas's barn, and Wayne Lucas actually ponied this horse on the track while he when he galloped since arriving on Wednesday. And Wayne said, you know what? I'm glad I decided not to run my horse in the Rebel this year because the way that Nadal looks, I'm glad I changed my mind. Nadal getting all the favoritism right now at odds of 4 to 5. Basin from the Asmussen barn, he's the only Grade 1 winner and says that he has trained like a Grade 1 winner down at the fairgrounds. Very high expectations for this horse. They say that when he trains in the morning, he has been compared to the greats of Curlin and Rachel Alexandra. But it's a long layoff that he comes off that victory in the Hopeful back at Saratoga. He's got some big shoes to fill. Greg?
Well, anytime you come out of the Bob Baffert barn and the names that have been associated with Nadal, those are huge shoes to fill. He's still lightly raced. Again, he didn't debut until the beginning of his 3-year-old campaign in mid-January. So he's up against it a little bit here.
Hey, Bob did it with Justify, and it was proven that it can be done. So he's going with that plan again.
I'll tell you what, looking at Nadal in the mornings, I wasn't necessarily in love with his effort in the San Vicente, which was an audible that was already called by Baffert, because originally he was thinking to run him in the Southwest, which is run a little bit later than the San Vicente, but he was doing so good he ran him in there. So he ran a winning race, but he was really pressed by Ginobili, who had a little bit more racing experience under his belt. I will say, since that effort, his workouts in the mornings have been much more visually impressive to me, especially his last one, that March 8th work. He had huge strides, and he did work in company with a horse named Westsider, and he will, quote unquote, won the work by 4 or 5 lengths, really drawing off late. I thought he looked tremendous in that work, and an improved work, in my opinion, than before the San Vicente.
Well, word is, yeah, that he's been training like 2 turns will not be a problem. Talking about Nadal, Bob Baffert, you saw all those wins in this race in the Rebel. Two times he's won this race 3 years in a row, including with American Pharoah back in 2015. We will see what happens coming up here with Nadal. Can he remain undefeated? He's got the pedigree to say he will love 2 turns. Meanwhile, Steve Asmussen, he's looking for the one big race, really, that has eluded him in his career, the Kentucky Derby. He has 3 horses in this race to try and get him a horse in that starting gate, including Grade 1 winner Basin, who's making his 3-year-old debut.
Yeah, I'm torn between the 2 of these horses, Silver Prospect and No Parole. I loved Silver Prospect's race in the Southwest. No Parole. You don't see, excuse me, I'm talking about Basin. Torn between Basin and Silver Prospector. You don't see Steve Asmussen working his horses like this horse has been working at Fairgrounds. 59 and change, 112. Those are extremely fast works. He usually works his horses on the slower, steady kind, and you have to think, me watching Asmussen train for all these years in the mornings, that this horse is naturally doing what he's doing. He's not being pushed to do that. So I think Basin probably coming into this race extremely fit right now. And I think that Basin's at a big price.
And meanwhile, there's a look at the 6. That is 3 Technique for Jeremiah Englehart, the first horse that Jeremiah's ever had with Derby points, named after a pre-snap alignment for an interior defensive lineman. Bill Parcells does that a lot with his horses. His August Dawn farm here. Jeremiah Englehart grew up it was his hero, Bill Parcells, and now he's training horses for him.
He's my hero too. Just say it. 3 Technique. I don't think he had a huge excuse in the Smarty Jones. He's coming in rested off of that, so he's going to have to step it up today.
It's the Grade 2 Rebel. Derby prep, Nadal for Bob Baffert from the rail, trying to remain undefeated. Vic Stauffer with the call here on Fox Sports 2.
They're off. No Parole broke beautifully. American Theorem and Nadal sent through from the inside, and there goes Nadal. And he will challenge No Parole early, and these 2 go very fast. American Theorem is now in 3rd, then Basin, Silver Prospector, and 3 Technique. Next, it's Coach Baugh, and the early trailer is Accession. No easy leads for Nadal as American Theorem is on the attack, and here come the 2 Californians into the backstretch. American Theorem has pressed Nadal, and they are flying along. No Parole backs off and sits 3rd and 2.5 from the dueling front runners. Then comes Basin and the outside 3 Technique. Silver Prospector has about 5 lengths to make up, and he's 6 in front of Coach Baugh and Accession as they run to the half-mile pole in the 60th Rebel. And if either one of these top 2 win, they are the goods. It is Nadal ahead in front of American Theorem in 2nd. Now to the outside, and 3 Technique and No Parole. They're closer 3rd and 4th. Basin's right there between horses. Silver Prospector at the rail. How about the top 6 separated by 1.5 lengths as they race around the far turn, and Nadal is still the leader. In fact, Nadal has put away American Theorem. He must deal with 3 Technique, who's on the attack in 2nd. Silver Prospector rides the rail in 3rd. Nadal has a final 3/16, and this is the acid test, and he leads by 1.5 lengths. 3 Technique to the outside. Here comes Coach Baugh, a massive long shot running a big race. Between horses goes Accession, who's come from the back of the pack. And look at this. It is Accession and Nadal. Nadal, Accession, Nadal aces the Rebel. Wow, what a race. Accession came out of the clouds for 2nd. It is close for 3rd between 3 Technique and Basin.
Nadal, he remains undefeated. He has to hold off the 3rd likeliest of the 3 Steve Asmussen runners to do it.
I thought the call from Vic Stauffer was great when they were going into the turn, and he said if either one of these two horses wins this race, they're the goods, and Nadal is the goods. How he won this, I don't know. Hooked every step of the way under pressure, and
this is something we give Bob Baffert a lot of credit for too,
yes.
right? He trains his horses in the mornings hard. He trains them hard in company. They duke it out in the mornings already, so they are that much fitter come the afternoon. But to ship across the country, to stretch out for the first time, to take on proven stakes horses, to throw down the entire way around there and still come out on top, that was a tremendous effort.
New racetrack, an off track that he'd never faced before, 2 turns for the first time, and yeah, people might say, well, he's all out to hold off an 82-1 shot. Bottom line, he got the job done.
Listen, this was very similar to the San Vicente. Everybody talked about how slow the last 16th of a mile was, or 1/8 of a mile was in the San Vicente. You know what? It made a man out of him. He came back, he trained well after that. It either knocks him out or they move forward. He obviously moved forward. All right, it was an 80-1 shot, but look at the distance between second and the third and fourth place horses. There's daylight between them, so that's how much the best they were. Accession ran a huge race.
Also, do note that the horse that pressed him all the way around, American Theorem, ran in last. So, you know, talking about 2 horses of different calibers there.
And Tiago Pereira putting a lot of heat on Nadal early on, able to handle that pressure and finish and get the job done on the Grade 2 Rebel. Nadal remains undefeated for Bob Baffert. Baffert's 7th win in the Rebel. We'll be back.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Smiling Tigers Championship sire performance continues. Each of his first 3 crops has produced a Horse of the Year, including California Horse of the Year Spiced Perfection and 2019 champion 2-year-old male El Tigre Terrible. 14 6-figure earners, including 7 with single-season earnings surpassing $100,000 in 2019. California's #1 second crop sire in 2018 and now #1 third crop sire of 2019. Smiling Tiger, standing at Harris Farms. Visit SmilingTigerStallion.com for more information. It pays to be Cal-bred.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Round Baffert inside. Race. And a 1/4 of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. It's last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. It is brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual, unusually well. Nadal with a win in the Grade 2 Rebel. He is sired by Blame, who of course stands at Claiborne. 9 for 13 in his career. Whitney winner. And that Breeders' Cup Classic victory over Zenyatta that made him a champion. Now standing at Claiborne Farm. Well, he has a good one. His son Nadal, very impressive, gutting out this victory, tackling that pace pressure early on from American Theorem and able to withstand that and finish.
I mean, I think Michelle and I both were thinking the same thing going around the first turn. Then they got into the second turn, and I said there's no way he can withstand this pace and the pressure doing this for the first time, shipping cross country like Michelle said. I'm very, very impressed. More impressed than I was with him going into this race. He moved up a few notches for me today.
Ditto that. I had kind of Authentic sitting at the top of my Bob Baffert list, but after that effort, that was gutty. I really appreciated the effort that he put in there, and you know, he's a big horse, looks a lot like his daddy, Blame.
It's getting it's a good position to be in, but it's getting more and more difficult for Bob Baffert to try and keep all his Derby prospects away from each other.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to at this point in time. He's got to have at some point mix these things up prior to the Kentucky Derby. Whether that happens in the Arkansas Derby, Santa Anita Derby, or what it's going to be, I don't know. But this was fun to watch. I had Authentic at the top of my Baffert class, but I'm not so sure that I do anymore after what I saw. I got him like head and head right now.
Yeah, well, and if it's a head-and-head duel, we saw how that turns out, right?
Meanwhile, look, for Steve Asmussen, he has an 82-1 shot, who most disregarded in this race, who winds up battling Nadal to the wire. Is this a horse who deserves to be in the picture now?
Hey, it's you see those silks? It's the Calumet silks, and I've been there before in those Calumet silks on a horse that no one figured could get the job done in Oxbow. Brad Kelly, he breeds a lot of good ones, and got him in the right hands with Steve Asmussen. And I was impressed with his run today. He came from the clouds, through all that mud. Tyler gave him a great ride, threading the needle, and he ran on nicely. So we'll see how he moves on. He definitely earned a spot into the Arkansas Derby today.
Well, you got to feel like, too, the other Asmussen horses get a little bit of, an asterisk right by their efforts, right? Because Basin coming off of the extremely long layoff, I mean, that's a tall ask for him, first time routing as well. And Silver Prospector looked loaded sitting on the rail. And then as they turned for home and that spot opened up, instead of going through it, he tries to go out. He got completely stopped again. And then when they came up on each side of him, he got a little intimidated and backed out of there. But I think a little bit better trip, and he could have finished a little bit closer.
Still, look, sloppy racetrack too. So I don't know if we learned a whole lot in terms of going forward. It might be some horses who just love this kind of off surface. So it throws another wrench into things also.
Yeah, I mean, Nadal, we know that he doesn't need a sloppy track. We've seen him run on fast tracks out here at Santa Anita, a deeper surface. So no asterisk next to him. It was a great race, a great performance. Hopefully he comes out of the race good. I became a fan today, and I'd like to see more of him.
But the wet might have something to do with Accession running really well, too. If you go back, his win and his third against Allowance Company both came in the slop at two different racetracks. So he obviously appreciates a little bit of moisture, or a lot of moisture. It looked pretty sloppy out there today in his tracks.
Last week, we had some surprises on the road to the Kentucky Derby. Let's take a look back. Mischievous Alex, this is a horse he's put blinkers on for John Service. He was expected to get the win in the Gotham. They weren't even sure, though, Connections, how far he really wants to go. They thought maybe a mile, about at the peak. This was a mile in the Gotham, but now they want to keep on going. He's been so impressive.
Hey, they've got to keep going on with him, at least give him the opportunity to move forward and make a chance into the Kentucky Derby. Yeah, there might be distance limitations, but he's not showing it right here. He's got a lot of fight, a lot of grit. And I thought he won impressively. He definitely wasn't backing up at the end of this one-turn mile distance.
Oh, Gary, and I'm with you. Anytime a horse wins it, whether they're the odds-on favorite or they're a long shot, they've earned their chance to keep trying to prove that, maybe I earn a spot in the Kentucky Derby.
Kendrick Carmouche, good for him, on board for that win. Of course, John Service campaigned Kentucky Derby winner Smarty Jones years ago. So,
and how about those silks, too? From Fleet Alex.
April 4th, the Wood, next on the itinerary. King Guillermo, I don't think anyone saw this one coming in the Tampa Bay Derby. Late nomination now after this win to the Derby for $6,000. Son of Uncle Mo, owned by a former Major League Baseball player, Victor Martinez, who was a 5-time All-Star.
Hey, you got to put up the $6,000 after blindsiding this field and winning off impressively. I thought it was a great run by him. He gets over this track well, earned some points with that victory. So I'm glad they put the $6,000 up.
And he's got the right pedigree to move on, right? There's some horses you kind of question, do I want to go ahead and late subscribe them? But he's got the right goods behind him to say, let's go ahead and give it a shot. And in the grand scheme of things, $6,000 probably doesn't seem like a large amount of money when you're talking $2 or $3 million for the Derby.
They won that and then some in that Tampa Bay Derby win. May train up to the Kentucky Derby. That's one of the options. In the San Felipe, Authentic, he'd been very green in the stretch, zigzagging in the past. He looked very straight and strong in his performance.
Yeah, and I'm not going to move off of him. He reminds me a lot of Point Given. He's a big, strong colt. He's cat-like for his size. He proved that when he was zigzagging all over the racetrack, but very professional in the San Felipe. So he's the one for me.
I'll tell you what I like about him too is he seems so kind. Going down the backside when they were, moving relatively quick, and Drayden looks around and he asks him just gently, "Can you relax?" And he says, "Yes, I can." When you watch him in the mornings, he just seems like that type, and I feel like that could get you a long ways in the Derby.
So you see the Kentucky Derby leaderboard, Authentic, Nadal, 1,000 Words. Those are all Bob Baffert horses. He has another horse running today who debuted with a 105 Beyer speed figure, better than Justify's debut, who's making the second start of his career this afternoon in an allowance race stretching out to a mile.
Yeah, stretching out. There was a scratch in there. I believe it scratched down to a 4-horse field. So we asked Mike Smith earlier if he thought he could beat him today, and I don't know if that race has happened yet. I don't think it has, but Mike says maybe if I start right now, and that was about an hour ago.
Yeah, Mike Smith's on Rushy, and he's going first time versus winners, but Charlatans first time versus winners as well. He also takes the blinkers off, similar to Nadal. But this horse has been working amazing in the mornings all along.
Maybe the most hyped of the Baffert brigade?
Ooh.
Charlatan?
After his win, yes, for sure. I don't know about going into it.
I'd heard a lot of not whispers,
Right.
a lot of barking
about
Charlatan prior to his first start. But he's got them lined up, and they're all running well, and he's got a plan with all of them. But like you said, he's got to figure out how to keep them separated. He can't keep them separated now. There's too many of them, period.
And don't forget, we still need to see 8 rings. We don't know where he's going to wind up yet.
Yeah, I talked to Bob Baffert last week about what to do, and he's still on the fence about where we're going to see his first appearance of the year.
Very good problem to have for the 5-time Kentucky Derby winner, Bob Baffert. We're going to take a break in the action. More coming up. Another Kentucky Derby prep from Turfway Park, the Jeff Ruby Stakes, and Miami. Moving on to the Kentucky Derby Trail, Kendrick Carmouche for Danny Gargan. We'll be back.
Warfront. This son of Danzig ranks among the world's elite sires, with Grade 1 winners on dirt and turf, and star performers both at home and abroad. Warfront's success as an international super sire is unmatched. Recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach and Preakness Stakes hero War of Will. In the auction ring, Warfront was the #1 sire by highest average at Keeneland September, with yearlings commanding prices up to $2.9 million. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Go from Railbird to Winner's Circle. With My Racehorse, you have access to top horses and trainers, backside tours, exclusive ownership experiences, and fast payouts to your online account. With shares starting as little as $100, the Winner's Circle is waiting for you. Go to myracehorse.com or download the My Racehorse app today to join the thousands who have already started their journey as a racehorse owner.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Coming on strong.
Minute to stardom. On top, coming down to the final 16th, opening up a 2-length lead.
Feel my love for you.
Wild About Star, shining big here in Berry 1.
Oh, why did I wrong?
Testing, 1, 2. The Star Guitar filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing, 1, 2.
Feel my love for you. Coming on strong.
Prince of the North follows Silent Fury into
Run Happy gains ground from the rail. Here comes Run Happy moving through from the inside. Run Happy just moves right by, gets the lead and opens it out to 2.5. Half went in 45 seconds flat, and it's Run Happy. Run Happy just went wide, but has a 6-length lead, running erratically through the stretch, but Run Happy has a huge lead here. Run Happy, impressive in his debut. Run Happy by 8 lengths.
That was Run Happy, breaking his maiden at Turfway Park. And to me, he's had some incredible moments. We all know what a champion he was. Gary, you were on him in the Malibu, winning a grade 1, but to me, that was one of my favorite moments for Run Happy.
Yeah, I got tape of that, watched. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, witnessing that, although it was on tape. But I feel very fortunate to have gotten to ride him in the grade 1 Malibu. It was one of those just hang-around jobs. I was more worried about just getting him away from the gate clean, not stumbling, me not falling off, and the rest of it was what they call a rocking chair ride.
Queen of God wins the Bourbonette Oaks. Irad Ortiz Jr., Mike Maker, Winter Circle Racing Stable. She collects 20 points to get into the starting gate for the Kentucky Oaks. We move on next to a Kentucky Derby prep. Grade 3, Jeff Ruby Stakes, $250,000 purse, and 20 points to the winner here as well to get into the Derby starting gate. As we take a look at the current odds, 8-5 favorite Invader for Wesley Ward. As we currently look at the 2, Toma Toto, Steve Asmussen, used to be with Mike Maker.
And this horse really has a turfy pedigree, but that has fared well on synthetic generally. He finished 3rd behind Invader, and will have to definitely turn the tables today.
We saw the 3 rocket by from Mike Maker. Here's the 4 Unthrottled for Dallas Stewart.
Unthrottled here coming in with a maiden special weight win, 2 back on the grass. Has yet to try synthetic.
Maya Manoy for Danny Gargan, Kendrick Carmouche aboard the Son of Temple City.
Yeah, ran 4th last time out, beating 3/4 and getting a brisk warm-up right there.
That was, I think, the 3, actually.
Yeah, we went back to the 3, but there's Unthrottled.
Yeah, they got us going all over the place in this post-grade right now. But
here's the 5, 6-1 for Danny Gargan, who, of course, had Tax last year, was the winner of the Jim Dandy at Saratoga. Here's Halo again for Steve Asmussen.
$600,000 Keeneland September purchase, son of Speightstown here. Already is a stakes winner over the synthetic, going 1 1/8 up at Woodbine. So makes this one a very interesting player, in my opinion.
17-1 on Victory Boulevard for Mike Maker.
Yeah, and trying synthetic for the first time, and also trying 2 turns for the first time. Claimed for $32,000 last time out.
Huge price on Austrian.
Yeah, Austrian, a big number. Broke his maiden for $15,000 last time out at Turfway.
The Stiff had to deal with an outside post last time out in the El Camino Real Derby when a Bob Baffert runner won. Surprise, surprise, Azul Coast.
He also did not get a clean trip over to Turfway Park. In fact, he was in a van that hit an airplane when he landed. But obviously, he's okay here for owner Mike and trainer Mike McCarthy.
Wow. Invader, Wesley Ward. Alex Jimenez, back-to-back wins, undefeated at Turfway.
I loved his race in the Battaglia last time out. He's 2 for 2 on the synthetic. Like you said, 2 for 2 at Turfway Park.
And field pass, Irad Ortiz Jr. for Mike Maker, coming off a win on turf at Gulfstream.
But again, turf has transferred well to synthetic, and Mike Maker is a synthetic master. So I would not veer away from this horse. The Dania Beach is a very good turf stake, and that was off a layoff going a ride of ground. I think this is one to look at, and he's 4-1 right now.
Was able to save a lot of ground, though, in that race.
Well, to be fair, Invader got the perfect trip in his John Battaglia, too.
So 8-5 on Invader for Wesley Ward. Want to remind everyone, you saw it there, that $20 free play still in play. Get signed up with Naira Bets, and a $20 free play is yours when you use that code REBEL20 at sign up. Go to nairabets.com/rebel20 for promotion details. So 8-5 favorite on Invader. He's already proven over this racetrack, obviously on this surface, and has won at 1 1/16, so now it's to try the 1 1/8. But all signs appear to say this horse, everything in his corner right now.
Yeah, the way he won the Battaglia, the way he was drawing off at the end, he looks like he wants every bit more of 1 1/8. I expect the pace to be much hotter today than what it was in the Battaglia. That should not bother him. He's come from a little further off the pace to win 2 back, and he won that race. Broke his maiden by 12 lengths. His first time at Turfway, and that was going around the ground. So I think he's going to love the extra 16 or 1/8 of a mile.
Also, he drew the 10 hole out of 12 that day, so he'll be in the 10 hole here today as well, because there's a scratch of the 8 horse in the field. But sometimes you can say horses can be hindered from drawing the outside. That has not hindered him in the past.
And he beat in that John Battaglia Memorial horse who was fairly highly regarded. A sprinter, yes, but High Holy had won 2 sprints in a row, was last with a 91 buyer by 10 lengths. And he put that horse away. So we'll see if the progression continues for Invader, the son of Warfront. 2 for 2 on synthetic, 2 for 2 at Turfway, 8-5 favorite. But outside, Field Pass, first try on synthetic, who was the winner of that Dania Beach. And, you know, we got to see him as a 2-year-old last summer at Saratoga, and with anticipation, he actually beat decorated Invader prior to that, who would go on to win the Group 1 Summer for Christophe Clement.
I liked Field Pass in here. I know that you said, Greg, that the Dania Beach, maybe he just got the key trip, but however they get the trip, they still win the race, and that still improves their confidence. And obviously, coming off the bench, I feel like he might have needed one. The going was good that day, which he also broke his maiden over good going. So there is something to be said about that. Maybe he doesn't want to have something a little firmer. And I don't necessarily know, while we convert polytrack and turf successfully, I don't know how like good turf stats up against always fast polytrack.
You know, I think it does all right at Turfway Park. I spent a lot of time at Turfway Park back in 2005 with Patrick Bianconi. He was training a majority of his turf horses there. We had a strong string of turf horses that year that ran very well training on that track, and they handled pretty much any kind of turf course. So I think they adapt to it just fine. Another maker in here, the maiden's interesting. Started one time, the one that started one time and broke its maiden at Gulfstream Park back February 2nd. Took him gate to wire in there, so could be part of the pace factor in here. There's not a ton of speed in this Jeff Ruby today, so that's one way I think that Invader and Jimenez can work out a good trip from that 11 post position. The same for Field Pass. I read should be able to get over, save some ground around that first turn. Horse has got just enough speed to maybe split the field, get over and get some ground save there.
Since we saw Florent Giroux break away from the pony and give a vigorous warm-up to the 3, I would hope that their plan is to go, because if not, I think Mike Maker is not going to be very happy right now.
Showed speed in that mile debut on turf back at Gulfstream and got the win and beat a horse named Proven Strategies for Mark Cassidy, who was actually second in the Skidmore, was 4th in that Group 1 Summer, so has shown some ability on turf. So that was a nice win for Fancy Liquor. This is just the second start of his career, giving up a ton of experience. I want to go back to the 6th, though. Halo, again, we have not seen, and we just saw Steve Asmussen run second to Nadal, but we haven't seen a breakthrough with a big win really on our show today.
Do you still have some of your $20 left over, Greg?
I do.
Okay, $5 on Halo again right here. I think you're getting a nice price at 6-1. He's already a stakes winner on synthetic at 1 mile and an 1/8. He sits right off of the pace. Now, to be fair, he set off of a pretty slow pace, but I feel like he can get a really great trip here. You know, you draw a line through that last effort. It was on dirt. Maybe his dirt form is not as good. I know he broke his maiden on dirt, but it was sprinting, and a lot of times you can kind of manage, but when you're talking about a route of ground, that's when a horse that doesn't prefer a surface, it really starts to show.
And it was a loaded field, too, that he was facing with a bad trip.
Yes, and Forcible is actually one of my nice Derby horses that I still like.
Mr. Monomoy was in that race, who would come back and win a Division of the Risen Star as well. So, yeah, Halo again. 6-1 on the board. The 6 horse here, son of Speightstown for Steve Asmussen. Maybe a play if you have any of that free $20 left from getting signed up and started with Naira Bets. Another Derby prep here coming up. The Grade 3 Jeff Ruby Stakes. And we saw a horse, you know, come out of this a long time ago to go on. It was named something different to go on to win the Kentucky Derby in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, and said he had never run on dirt until the Kentucky Derby. Obviously, he had had some workouts and trained on dirt. They knew he would handle it, so it's worked out to be a decent kind of Derby prep leading up to it.
Invader, though, remains the favorite, trying to win 3 in a row, all here at Turfway Park. For trainer Wesley Ward, 8-5 choice, the son of Warfront, steps in line. Jim McNerney with the call. Grade 3 Jeff Ruby Stakes here on Fox Sports 2 on America's Day at the Races on the road to the Kentucky Derby.
So Temple City. Invader, the 3-2 favorite, has gone forward. Now just one left. Field pass to the outside. They are at the post in the Ruby. They are off in a 49th running of the Grade 3 Jeff Ruby Stakes. Good beginning for Fancy Liquor, who's offensive-minded. But there goes Invader, the favorite, in the gray field pass will come away racing in third. Hello Again's away racing in fourth. Victory Boulevard is fifth. Tomatota hard held in sixth. Miami in between horses as they run of the first turn. Then comes the stiff. Austrian caught wide. Then comes Dak Daniels, and at the back of the pack on throttle. They head in the opening turn, where Fancy Liquor leads the favorite Invader, who'll track him from second. Field pass out on the clear while racing third. Halo Again is fourth at about 5 off the pace, covered up to the outside by Victory Boulevard as the field straightens up for the backstretch journey. Miami is advancing to the outside of Tomototo. Then comes Dak Daniels as they continue to run up the backside. The stiff is next, still 2 back to Austrian and Unthrottled. At the back of the pack, the half mile in the Ruby was 47-3. Fancy Liquor in start 2 leads the Ruby field past the half-mile pole by a length. Invader racing in between horses in second. Field pass made the move to the outside. That forced Invader to go. Now here comes Miami with a 4-wide bid. Meanwhile, Halo Again's getting a rail run. Halo Again's fourth, just about 3 lengths off the leaders as they race around the turn. It's still Fancy Liquor. Whip comes out on Fancy Liquor. Invader presses up to the outside. 3-wide bid from Field Pass. Halo Again racing to the inside in fourth as they race to the top of the home stretch, and Fancy Liquor is still there. Fancy Liquor shows the way. Here's Invader up to the outside, and 3 wide is Field Pass. They're inside the final Florence Furlong, and here comes Field Pass up and after Invader. Fancy Liquor still fighting on. It's Field Pass to the outside, Invader fighting on. Field Pass and Invader. Field Pass from Invader. Field Pass gets there by a neck. Invader was second, Fancy Liquor third, and it looked like Halo Again just held Victory Boulevard for fourth, and the running time in the Ruby 1:49.1. Field pass give trainer Mike Maker.
Mike Maker with a big showing in the Jeff Ruby. Field pass with the win in his synthetic debut.
And I ran Ortiz, giving him a great ride. Gets the perfect stalking trip. No real excuse for Invader. He was getting pressure from Field Pass. Irad doing his job, and a nice hard-earned victory for Field Pass.
Mike Maker really firing on all cylinders up here for the Turfway meet. Brings this one in from South Florida, who had a nice rail skimming ride in the Dania Beach, but took the overland route to victory here.
And he runs third in here as well, Mike Maker, with Fancy Liquor, who's making just the second start of his career.
He held on. That horse was game.
It was a big race from him. He set a decent pace, fair pace, and was able to hang on for third.
Field Pass with the victory. 3 wins now from 8 career starts. The 11th at Oakland. Maiden special weight, 6 furlongs. And on the outside, Tipsy Gal, Dallas Stewart, third, beat a length as a beaten favorite, first time out at Oakland back in mid-February, the one to beat right now.
I kind of like the 3 in here. Lucky Betty for Wilby Van Meter was second on debut. Didn't break great, so I feel like can move forward. I like Munning's Offspring when they run on an off track. I think that she's really interesting in here.
I've got a check mark next to Lucky Betty, too.
All right.
So I hope I didn't jinx you. Also have a check mark next to the easy one, Cynical Girl, the 5 horse for McLean Robertson. Coming off a second place finish last time out here at Oakland, and that was this filly's second start. This is second start off the layoff, so she should improve again today.
Do you want to try to go 3 for 3? How about the 6 Sacred Union for Jerry Hollendorfer?
No, but I'm never going to kick out a Hollendorfer or Tyler Bays. This one should improve too. I can't disagree with you.
Good chance we could call Steve Asmussen's name in this race. Weekend Fun the 10. Going to be making her 3-year-old debut. A little more seasoned than some of these. She's on the board at 6-1. She has speed and she has ability as well.
She definitely has some ability. She has run very well at the maiden special weight level previously. In fact, they even tried her in a stakes race on the grass routing as still a maiden. Obviously, she has not won a race yet. She has some nice works coming into today, but off of the layoff is never an easy thing. And she hasn't had any sloppy form in the afternoon, although she did work in the mud on March 10th at Oakland.
But it's Tipsy Gal, Dallas Stewart, favored on the board, even though Lucky Betty, the 3, in her debut as well, finished ahead of her that day. She got off to a slow start out of the gate. We'll see if she breaks better today. She was only beat a half length in that first out effort. Vic Stauffer with the call. Here's the 11th from Oakland Park.
Two more. Tipsy Gal and Sacred Union. They're at the post. They're off. Cynical Girl broke beautifully for Cecily Evans, goes to the front from Classy Beast in second, then to the outside and Tipsy Gal. Weekend Fun's in the mix as well. These four race out, and Classy Beast moves inside of Cynical Gal, and they'll match strides. Weekend Fun is third, then to the outside and Tipsy Gal four deep in fourth. Then comes Silver Bella, Lucky Betty, Girl You Fine, and outside of that, Never Say Can't, and the trailer is Sacred Union. Classy Beast and Joe Talamo have the lead, leaving the back stretch from Cynical Girl in second. Weekend Fun, less than a length from the front. Tipsy Gal goes with her. Four of them going to line up at the top of the stretch. Never Say Can't has moved up into fifth with Silver Bella at the rail and Lucky Betty between horses. Then Girl You Find, Legs Galore, and Sacred Union top of the stretch. Classy Beast and Cynical Gal joined four wide by Tipsy Gal, Cynical Girl, and Tipsy Gal. There's 2 or 1-2 with Classy Beast at the rail. And then comes Weekend Fun, and Tipsy Gal has the lead. Classy Beast is running a big race through from the inside. A late charge from Silver Bella. Classy Beast, Tipsy Gal. Classy Beast rallies and wins for Talabo. Classy Beast won it. Silver Bella flew for second. Tipsy Gal third. Close for fourth.
Joe Talamo on a huge long shot here. Classy Beast, who is stepping up in class, had been facing State Bread Company.
Hadn't run since October of last year. Go Stream Park West and took him gate to wire there. Hung tough too. I mean, coming off that long a layoff and under deep pressure, and I've talked about how long this stretch can seem here. I truly believe that the stretch there is uphill the last eighth of a mile. I'm not kidding you, Michelle.
I want to see the measurement on that.
Classy Beast gets the job done. A first-timer, Silver Bella, running pretty good too, first time out. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. Recap the afternoon when we return on America's Day at the Races. Stay with us.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
We are back on America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2. It is brought to you in part by America's Best Racing. For the love of the race, visit americasbestracing.net today. Back at Turfway Park, Field Pass. Mike Maker, Irad Ortiz Jr., $9.60 for the win. We know he likes synthetic. What do you think about dirt for this horse down the line?
Well, Lemon Drop Kid, he gets runners on anything, to be honest with you. So, we'll see.
He's tried.
I mean, he's tried it before at Churchill. Forgive him, it was his last race as a 2-year-old. If you want to make up an excuse of what it could be, that's what I'm going
Also,
with.
he didn't have a clean start. He got bumped. I think he was a lot further back behind horses. And when you're talking about a first dirt start, you get dirt in your face. That's a big difference.
And interesting his works at Palm Meadows. He's been working on the dirt, not their turf course. So this could be interesting.
Meanwhile, back at Oakland, Classy Beast. How about $48 to close out our show here? David Fox, Joe Talamo.
Smoking Joe Talamo.
Smoking Joe.
And a daughter of the Big Beast with the win. And show ends like it began with huge prices. Cross country, pick 5 follow along. It returns $7,882.50 with that huge number to end it. Queen of God paying $1,560 as well. But there it is. If you had it, well done. All right, so Nadal, we know what you thought of the performance, but what do you think going forward here in the Triple Crown Trail?
Well, I think that we've got to keep our eye on him. I'm sure that he's going to go back for the Arkansas Derby. That's what Bob normally does. He showed that he liked the track. He showed that he can handle a lot of different things today. He's stretching out to a distance, 2 turns for the first time, hooked all the way, a muddy racetrack. So no mistakes.
And I think looking at Authentic, we saw a lot of visible mistakes and greenness from him and not so much from Nadal. But going forward, I feel like they're both horses that can improve. And, Nadal just creeped right on up my little list here.
Nadal, Authentic, probably the leaders in the clubhouse for the Baffert contingent, although they might be second fiddles. Charlatan just ran huge at Santa Anita, could be moving on to the Santa Anita Derby after his performance here in Southern California. In the Rebel Stakes, it was Nadal. Blinkers coming off. He remains undefeated for Bob Baffert. Tested early, had plenty left in the tank. And in the Jeff Ruby Stakes, Field Pass with the win. We're back tomorrow with action from Aqueduct in Oakland. We'll see you on FS2 from 3 to 6:30 Eastern. And we're back next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on Fox Sports 1. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for spending part of your Saturday with us.
Orb, winner of the Kentucky Derby and Florida Derby. His runners have scored on both dirt and turf. His recent stakes success includes Mrs. Orb, winner of the Bay Ridge Stakes at Aqueduct, Pippin Stakes victorious Whoa Nelly, and Derlou, a determined runner-up in the Grade 3 La Cañada Stakes at Santa Anita. Classic winner, classic pedigree, or standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. America's Best Racing is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
This is a Run Happy Colt out of Pledge Pen that we brought here to the OBS March sale. We felt he was a star physical, very good training horse, and although he's on the big side, he's got a lot of speed, and we feel like he'll be an early, precocious type of horse.
Just a real straightforward, nice filly. Her precociousness to be quick early, being sound, good-minded, checks all the boxes. We're just hoping the market receives her well.
Run Happy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.